If you have a selfie with anyone, you can get away with anything these days. Just have a selfie with someone and make you famous.
Especially a couple of kids.
Yes.
Because you're family friendly. And...
Don't block anyone.
We are live.
Offended.
We are live.
We are live.
We are live. Oh, Leeds are well, okay. Leeds, best team in Super League, without doubt.
Remember 2 weeks ago it was Hull?
Yeah.
I'm wanting.
Remember after week 1, Hull were in the grand final. After week 2, they were playing Warrington in the grand final.
Yes.
Now, certain fans of both of those teams would like to see their coaches removed.
Wait for Leeds.
What a strange world.
We have got I think we've got some Twitter polls going on, haven't we? Who is under the most pressure? Who is it? Price, McDermott and Radders?
Yeah. Don't tell him.
No, I was there yesterday. Hull. What a game, by the way. What played the Catalan Dragons? That was an immense comeback. The Wigan Warriors beat Huddersfield. Huddersfield's unbeaten run is over.
Look like he's fondled me neither.
OKR lost again.
Is that here? I'll pick it up.
Don't mind
Leeds won. Leeds, the mighty Leeds now, please, if we can refer to them. Leeds in crisis. Those T-shirts will be retro soon. They'll be retro.
Remember the time when Leeds were in crisis?
Remember when?
We can't talk about them because nobody wants to.
Remember when week 1 when they were rubbish, you know?
Well. In fairness, I think all the how bad were Warrington? I actually thought Leeds played really well, but
they did in the first half.
Yeah. It's all down to Joe Wiley.
Yeah, exactly. And Wakefield are back. Wakefield
are back. Max Jowett, world's greatest halfback.
Yeah, there you go.
Not only are Wakefield and Leeds back, but Tina Turner's back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Richie Myler's back.
What a great
Richie Myler's back.
Richie's brilliant.
Sam Tompkins
At fullback. He's back at fullback.
Yeah. And St Helens beat Toronto. They were rubbish. Absolute. Thanks, Toronto.
Bodine Thompson, you were there.
He's not back.
Not even a match.
Yeah, it looked a bit naughty, that, didn't it? It did look a bit naughty, if I'm honest. We'll have a look at the Championship and League One as well that kicked off this weekend. Hunslet at top. Not as good as
North and South Leeds.
John, you well?
I am. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Phil, are you alright?
Yeah, really looking forward to going to see the Hurricanes of Valencia in the very near future.
No, you're good. Might get some tickets.
Might want to put a bid in then.
Yeah, maybe. Rich, you well? It's an interesting jump you've got on.
Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah,
are they in the Super
Well,
League
they might as
now?
well be, might they? I've not had a coffee with anyone from Toronto or anyone, so I can't get in.
I forgot to do this last week. I actually got a selfie
Oh yeah.
with a fan who stopped me in the pub and said, I've stopped listening now because of Richard Shaw.
Oh, what have I done?
So I've got a selfie.
Oh,
You just think you're nasty.
What about Bradford?
Yeah.
No, well, they
he's a
don't
Bradford.
exist really, do they? So.
Yeah, well, there you go. So,
They've had to rely on someone.
is this you stoking up the pre-cooked fire?
No, I better not do that. They've had to rely on their media manager to buy themselves some posts. I can tell you, I mean, A, I don't have that kind of power in any roles, but B, I won't be putting any money into any club like that.
Alright, well, what's happened? Have I missed
Nosy
one?
Parker's column in the paper. Stuart Duffy's bought them some posts.
Well,
I mean, I just nicked them from Hull, to be honest. But, you know.
no, well, move on.
Yeah, they won.
They
beat Oldham.
They beat
Well done,
Oldham.
Bradford. Well done, Bulls.
Well done.
And they're on the
They're
app this
back.
week. They're on the app this week.
They were on the app last week, weren't
They're on
they?
the app again.
Yeah, Sheffield.
Media
Eagles.
darlings, Bradford Bulls.
We'll talk about the 6:15 kickoffs. They're not going down
Again.
very well, are they? But you know, there are reasons for that, as we've explained.
That was positive there.
Oh no.
What's up?
Scoey.
Go on.
He's not here, by the way.
He's still ill. He's
Have
still
a
ill.
great show. Yes, I'm on drugs, but the rhinos for the
Ring him
train.
up. Put him on speakerphone.
Well, you want a bit of hearing though, will you?
Oh, they'll hear him. Go on, get him on.
I'll be back soon to get ripped in, he says.
Oh, this is. We're going to ring him now live on the show. He'll probably swear when he answers the phone.
Oh, but it's all right. We're explicit on Facebook, so
Are we
we're,
all right?
not for kids on YouTube, so it's okay.
Has he got to apologise to Richie Marler?
Parental advisory
See if he
warning.
answers.
Hello, this is a legend.
It's a good day.
You got through to the legend. Leave a message for the legend.
Sorry about this, people watching on you. He's not going to answer, is he?
The legend will get back to you.
Has he still got that voice?
Yeah,
We're going to find out.
Alright,
All right,
That's it,
mate.
go on.
Yeah, you're
live.
live on the show, legend. We've just got your message, so we thought we'd get you on. How are you? Everyone's worried about you. You're still alive. We've proven that, I think, by getting you on.
I am indeed, yes. Sure, I'll tell you what, fellas, I can't wait to get back and get ripped in. I can't wait to get ripped in. I'll tell you what, if I was there tonight, I would be ripping in. And I'll tell you what, them Warrington players, I can reassure you, would feel 2'6" after I would have finished them. I can reassure you, fellas.
What about Richie Myler? Anyway, I'm wearing his shirt now. I've got a Leeds shirt on in homage to Myler, who Leeds brilliant, and you think they're going to win the treble?
Hey mate, listen, you cannot say anything else but high praise for the kid, to be honest with you, because, and exactly as a coach should do, he was being honest with Richie and he said, listen, there's no place for the halfback, exactly what we're doing from there, and if you want to stay, because he was off for 2 other clubs, as we all know from there, and if you want to stay, then you've got to fight for a place, and the kid has got the right attitude, and he wants to stay at Leeds. He knows exactly what size club Leeds is, and the kid's got the right attitude from there. He's going to be used as that utility player, and he's enjoying himself. He's got a smile on his face, and certainly when you look to that performance by him on Friday night, and after the mistake of just dropping the ball right in the breadbasket, and you could feel everybody go, oh no, what's he playing at fullback? But after that, absolutely sensational. 9 out of 10 performance. For me, it was his best game he's had in the Leeds colours, and fair play to the kid, and he's enjoying himself. The coach has been open and honest. He's showing the right desire, showing the right attitude, and long may he continue.
Deck Patton's been on. He wants to sue you for putting a kiss of death on his career like you did Jordan Lilly. What have you got to say about that?
So my fault is useless.
And just finally, because we know
on the medication.
we know,
He's on drugs.
we know
He's
you
on
are
drugs.
ill, and we don't want you to get better. Everyone wants to know where you're back, so you're going to be back as soon as you can. But just finally, who's going to get sacked first, Radders or Steve Price?
Well, listen, we never. It's like there's 2 things that we never do on the show. We never slag off the officials, and we don't want anybody to be sacked, do we? But
You're going to get sacked if you don't get off the fence. So what's the answer to the question?
Well, the dilemma quite simply is, have the players at the club fed up with the face and voice. And if I'm honest with you, if you have to nail me to it, and he's a good friend of mine, it looks like Radders may go first, because them players for me after that yesterday's performance, I think they might be fed up with his face, and I think they might be fed up with the voice, and it's kind of me to say that.
Well, we'll see. It's good to hear from you, mate. You will be back soon. Won't you just reassure the listeners you'll be back soon?
Yeah, I will indeed, mate, and so I'm targeting, and as I say, I think people know I've had a bit of a problem with my left eye. I've got another operation in 6 weeks. Hopefully, after that operation in 6 weeks, another 4 weeks recovery, I'll be back. I'm looking for the 1st of June. I'll be getting ripped in, and one thing for sure, when you look at the league table come the 1st of June, I'll tell you what, the legend will be right. Leeds will be heading for the treble.
Right, good man. We're going to go. We'll see you later on, pal. Take care.
Enjoy the show, boys.
Cheers,
Enjoy
thank
the show.
you.
Bye for now.
There you go, the legend. As bonkers as ever.
He's on drugs, clearly.
Well, he is, yeah. Well, I thought he was anyway.
No,
is he just on different
Now
ones
he's legally on drugs.
Oh, right,
No,
okay.
no, he's never illegally on
I hope
drugs.
Deck Patton wasn't listening or watching.
Yeah, no. Well, he'll kill someone else's career soon. He'll kill someone else's career.
So when
Talking
Sean
of,
Wayne picks the England
on-
squad, it won't be Patton and Lilly.
No.
Drop some seriousness, talking of people whose careers are not going to take off. Sad news about Corey Johnson this afternoon.
Go on.
He's retired immediately from Rugby League. Wants something outside of the sport. No, we don't know any details other than a terse press release from the Rhinos saying that he has retired effectively immediately, and he was a prospect that could have been anything.
1 Super League cap.
Yeah. So it's not a heritage number.
People concerned that Scully self-isolating, they might have the coronavirus.
Well, I want to mention that because this podcast could be bringing it direct to you actually. Because yesterday, I don't know if you saw me tweet yesterday.
Yes.
And I'm in the presser.
I was going to wear a mask today.
And I'm like, I said, Steve McNamara, we talked about the game. So, Steve, have you had any advice what's going to happen with the coronavirus? How's it going to affect things? And Yannick Ray, I think the press guy, said a few words about how they envisage it might happen in France. And he said, I've got a bit of a fever myself. And I thought, right, everyone in the room went, whoa, step back.
Don't tell us now.
Step back. What are you doing here, man? But if we were feeling ill yesterday, they'll have been happy with that last 20 minutes where they got the win. What does everyone want to talk about? Is everyone happy?
Everyone's happy,
legend?
Yeah, they'll still come in an hour's time and say, where is you, have you sucked him?
Yeah. No, we haven't. We haven't. We're going to do it when he comes back. He's off on the sick at
It's
the
on
minute,
performance
so
enhancing drugs, isn't it?
yeah. Some would say we need him as well. How smug were I anyway yesterday with 1 minute left at Hull? Because who said last week Hull would win with a Mark Snead drop?
There you go.
Oh,
almost
there
hit
you go. There we go.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
How did they cock it up?
Oh.
And then they didn't get the kick-off, did they?
Yeah, Falau caught the kick-off, yeah. Yeah.
Still that try.
Oh, awful.
Oh.
Mate, last 20
James
minutes.
Maloney goes through 4 players. James Maloney's the same size as Phil.
Yeah. The last
Pretty
20,
height-wise.
the last, we'll start off with that game. Hull had a lot of ball, didn't go up with it early on. Then they scored a couple of points. Catalans looked good, hit back. And then Hull scored just before half-time. Tumavave scored after Connor went off. Connor, by the way, playing at centre, looked really good yesterday. A nice couple of passes from Fanua. You think, oh, he's going well, but he's done his MCL apparently, so that could be
That'd be
a
at
few
least,
weeks.
yeah, at least 4
6
weeks.
Yeah, 4 to
Or
6
more,
weeks, something
yeah.
like that. So that worked. Albert Kelly played well. And then Hull's second half, I saw yesterday the most violent legal tackle I have ever seen, where you are going, Jesus, it was horrible. It was horrible. They put up a high kick and Fuad Yahar stood there 10 metres off his line, looking up at the ball, and you could and running at him were Fanua and Manu Mao.
Oh,
Right? And he stood
that's
there.
a tongue sandwich.
He stood there and he waited and he caught it. And as he caught it, he was stood up, and Fanua and Mao, both at full tilt, like you would a tackle bag that you know is not going to fight back, both ran in, smashed him across the chest.
Ooh.
Right? Now I'm at the back, I'm 100 yards away, and you could hear the noise it made up there. And Fanua just crumpled, dropped the ball. It was like, I have never. It has to be the biggest hit I've ever seen on a guy that just stood there.
It was
waiting
not
for
small.
it.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
he's a tough bugger.
absolutely. Oh, it was. You just think. You showed that to anyone. You got, how the hell has he got up from that? It
Yeah.
was just. It was perfectly fair. Nothing wrong with
Yeah.
it. But jeez. Because they put a kick up later and Tompkins caught it and he basically sat down as soon as he knew what was
He knew,
coming.
yeah.
Apparently
He knew
it was
what
very,
coming.
very good.
Last 20 minutes, he won him the game, I think. He won him the game.
Because there's an England squad to be picked at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And
I think we've got a Twitter poll on that as well, haven't we?
I will
Yeah,
find
no,
it,
yeah.
he'd have to be in.
He's
wouldn't
got to be in the squad. He was balling on, yeah. Certainly in latter part, and Radford said after, look, Albert Kelly got tired first game of the season, Manu Mao outside and got tired, and that's where they kept going. But Hull just had no answer other than going. Then no answer. It's still got the drop goal, and then still.
Well, that's, I mean, you've got 1 minute, 2 minutes to go. You know you've got to defend one set,
Yeah,
and you can't even do that to win a game.
yeah, exactly.
And
It's not like
it's
they
not-
threw a brilliant play,
Well,
you know.
and it's also
to
not
win
as
the
though
game.
you're not unexpectedly going to get a short kick-off.
Yeah, I mean, Israel
Well,
Foyle's been winning
Radford-
rivals for 12 years, yeah.
Radford says we don't have anyone that's 8'2" and can catch a ball like that. And you think, yeah, but you know where it's going.
You can block him.
I mean, even if you'd have blocked him in a penalty, it would have still taken another few seconds off the clock. You know,
And presumably he caught the ball still 40 metres out.
Yeah.
So
on the 10
so
metre line. Yeah.
you have got enough time to
Yeah.
reset. And
That try.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful.
Yeah.
So they were awful for 20 minutes. I think he was shell shocked yesterday, and his team were good for an hour. And I mean, they were good. They were, you know. I think I tweeted at 28-12 or 28-10. This is surely all like they were
28-10, you really shouldn't be losing games at that.
Not with
that
20
stage.
minutes left.
No.
You should. No, and
At
they
home.
lost. And
At home.
if it had been another 10 minutes, they'd have lost by another 10, I think, as well. The Dragons, in fairness. What do we make of Adam Pearson's notes in the programme? I actually brought the programme, but I've got a picture somewhere on my phone.
Absolutely.
I'll read it out because people might not have actually
I
seen
don't
it.
mind. I don't mind that at all, to be honest.
You
I
don't
think
mind it at all?
No, it's
Right,
for the
okay.
mill. I don't agree. I don't agree with what he said, because you look at, they've got 2 marquees. Cassiano isn't on big money, and I think Falau's on 200 grand, and they've got a load of French players who will be on.
But
peanuts.
Falau on the salary cap barely counts.
Yeah,
does it?
Yeah.
I know.
So-
But what I'm saying is, I don't mind him having a pop at another club, because
Well,
it gets
well,
people
let's-
talking, it gets a reaction. I mean,
But he's factually incorrect.
Let's see what it says.
Facts don't matter in 2020.
yeah, exactly.
It appears at first glance that Catalans have 4 marquee players on their books. James Maloney, Sam Tompkins, Israel Folau and Sam Cassiano, all big money star players and pose a huge threat with a talented squad around them, including the likes of proven integral Super League players. Our CEO James Clark does a good job for us here, maximising our salary cap, all available channels to stretch our cap as far as we can through RFL exemptions. Rugby union talent and marquee rules, but whoever is doing the equivalent job at Catalans must be a magician by trade.
Well, the first thing that says is he has absolutely no confidence in the salary cap and who administers it.
The thing is though, but players from the NRL will go to Catalans because of the lifestyle. They will arguably take less money than to go to, certain places in England because of the lifestyle.
They clearly
also,
do not
the
have
tax rate is a lot
full
lower, so you
Yeah.
can end up with more money. And they don't. Yeah. Well, that's yeah.
So, to chairman and owners, we have nothing but admiration for putting money into clubs to keep them going. But just because you do that doesn't give you the right for that kind of propaganda. And it's backfired. It's clearly backfired. But if you're going to do it, get it right.
Yeah.
They cannot have 4 marquee players.
No.
That is
Sam
that is
Cassiano
regulated.
was
So-
a big name player who was basically kicked out of the Bulldogs because he wasn't performing.
Yeah.
Went to Melbourne for 5 minutes, wasn't performing there. So he's no longer, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's no longer an elite player that he was, 8 years ago when he was playing in the grand final.
And Israel Folau can't possibly.
Well, he's an outcast.
Because he's come back from rugby union. So
Mm.
even if they're paying him marquee money, it's like Sonny Bill. It only counts for 150 grand.
Mm.
So therefore he is not a marquee player in the sense that Adam Pearson knows and understands
Yeah.
what marquee means.
Yeah.
So he's already getting excuses in for his team before the game,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
backfired on him.
I don't think he's getting excuses. Though. He's just having a pop.
Yeah, but how can he do that? How can he have a pop, baby? He's,
Freedom of speech.
Yeah. Now the other thing is, Super League now is run by 12 people, of which he is one.
Yeah.
One of the other people who is running the competition, where apparently it's all supposed to be happy clapping, we're all in this together and we've got a lovely competition and please Mr Broadcaster give us loads of money. He's slaughtering one of his 12 fellow directors.
On the same vein,
Makes no sense.
Neil Hudgell did that to Rono
Yeah.
the day before or 2 days before on Twitter.
Mm.
So what's the difference? You know what I mean?
No, put your own
Yeah.
house in order.
So you're not a fan of either.
No,
Either sledge.
I think that unfortunately it's backfired and it could well on both.
The thing is though, we get a situation where generally the coaches don't say much to other clubs. So the chairman sort of fill that void. I don't have a problem with that personally.
As long as what they're saying is factually correct, and it clearly
There's
isn't.
not much facts going around, really. Did we mention Valencia?
They're ready to go.
Go on. What's
Oven
happening?
ready to go.
Next it'll be they smell of wig or something. That's what will be in the press. I'm surprised. I thought
I'm
Hull,
sorry?
Hull didn't have a
What
programme.
did you just say?
That's what they were saying. Such and such chairman smells of wig. That's the next level of debate. I didn't
I
realise.
think I missed something.
When the chairman slagging each other off, that's the level of debate we'll end up going down to. Like the
Okay.
playground.
I don't mind, as you say, slagging someone off is not the issue, but just.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah,
But if you're going to do it in a such a constructive way that actually.
I think that was
it's
a
worth
cheeky.
reading. That's just a
Saying
cheap
they're a
shot.
magician.
It's a cheap.
I think it
shot.
was trying to be somewhat funny, somewhat
Yeah.
cheeky. It wasn't like a McManus. The referee was appalling and blah 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 after the Challenge Cup final.
Yeah.
It wasn't blatant. It was more, taking the Michael, so to speak.
Get a script writer if you're going to try and be funny.
Is
Right.
Dynamo a Bulls fan? I know he's probably a Bradford City fan because they're good these days. But is Dynamo still a thing?
They're good. They're in League Two. They're not even in the playoff. How is that?
They're good.
How is that good?
Relative to the Bulls.
They've always been kicked out of
Bradford
football.
Park Avenue.
They're good.
Relevant to Bradford Park Avenue.
Groovy. They're great.
See, people moaning about the Headingley pitch. Go look at Valley Parade. Wow.
Well, I think it's on a par, isn't it?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, but at least
that
that-
Headingley pitch, is that an advantage?
I'm gonna say that.
Is that why they play so well? Because
I'm going to
they're
defend.
used to playing on sand.
Smooth.
Because-
Hold on, Richard's going
Yeah.
to defend Leeds.
Because I didn't realise that I've forgotten that the groundsman at Leeds follows me on Twitter. So it's not their fault.
So you basically you bought. This is
No,
a bought.
backtrack, yeah. If Izzy Flower followed me on Twitter, I'd probably change my mind.
Oh yeah, you can have a selfie.
You might want a
with it.
selfie with it.
You'd be blocked.
It's amazing the people who block you. So we've done some polls.
Why
as
don't
you
block
say.
you now?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Well, I've blocked some people. I've muted some.
I
people.
quite enjoy blocking people.
It is.
Oh,
Feels
muted
good.
quite
It feels
therapeutic.
good. Yeah.
I've
it is.
muted someone who keeps replying to my tweets and they don't realise that they've muted them. It's very amusing.
Who is it?
It's some randomer.
Fair enough. Go on then, talk us
No,
through the Twitter
no.
polls.
So poll one: who's under pressure most? So this is the David Bowie tribute poll. Steve Price, 47.6%. We get like decimal places now. Brian McDermott, who is the Liberal Democrats of this poll, 13.1. Lee Radford, 39.3.
Right.
Brian McDermott's in there. He can't win, but he's in there.
He's in there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're improving.
Ian Watson, Tony Smith don't get a.
I don't think Tony Smith's under any pressure, is he? Because he's been allowed to build the club.
But they've both lost 4 games out of 5.
I think it's level of expectation.
True.
Yes.
And money investment. Yeah.
Ian Watson's an interesting one because he has gone in the first 5 weeks of the season from being everybody's favourite other coach to a bloke who is becoming incredibly grumpy.
Well, what's he moaned about this week?
Well,
Well, I don't think he had a. We just had a shot at his team.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
They were poor. They were poor, yeah.
Yeah, let's do the.
Well, must have been
other
poor,
polls.
lost to Wakefield.
I know. Well, no, we're good now. Max Jowett, England halfback. If he's not in the England squad, we'll
Oh,
buy him.
don't say that. Scully will be on. Max Jowett, England.
Leeds start with a few games and Phil's making
Maxi Jowett, I know.
cracks. Yeah.
Same old Leeds, isn't it? The arrogance always gets them. Toronto Wolfpack.
Well, the grounds was on, isn't it?
I'm hoping to go on Thursday as well.
Well, I'll put you on the list, but
Good.
I've just got an
I'm
email.
Wish I had that.
Night off again.
Wish I had
Night
that
off.
power. Toronto Wolfpack. Want them to stay up and will. That's option 1, 19.6%. Want them to stay up and won't. 35.4%. Hope they go down. 33%. That's Sid. And think they'll stay up. 12%. That's a bit inconclusive. Sam Tompkins, should he start for England in the first test against Australia?
Yes, I voted yes.
Yes, 59.9%. No, 40.1%. Hashtag Wrexham of Wigan. They don't like him.
Alright, okay.
Wrexham of Wigan.
Alright, we'll get your tweaks in. Yeah, those are all on Twitter.
Yeah, there's another half hour on those polls. So
Wrexham and Perpignan doesn't have the same.
what is the French route? I don't know.
Low rectum?
Derriere.
Bring the results. When they come in
Yeah.
on this program. When are the Toronto in Crisis t-shirts out? That's Genghis.
They're when they lose to someone that didn't finish in the top 5 last year, then we'll start thinking
So
about
Hull KR after Leeds this week, I think.
it. Eh?
Do they play Hull KR after Leeds?
They've got Huddersfield. No, they play Huddersfield.
Oh, it's right in the cup. They have, yeah.
Was he going to be live on the Our League app on a Wednesday night in
It is.
Huddersfield?
It is.
Big crowd there.
Yes.
They've come in tonight as well. They're all there.
Yeah.
Should be
Very
good.
good.
That's
They
what
brought
a
a
cowboy.
they brought a cowbell with them on.
Thank goodness.
Very good. Has
Cowboy.
anyone actually mentioned anything on the social
Oh yeah,
media?
everyone's having a go at your shirt.
Oh, I'm going to take it off now.
It's,
Outrageous. It's not happening again.
uh,
Bit of gut there. On
do you think?
That's with the Leeds in Crisis t-shirt.
Do you think that Pearson would have said these things without doing his homework first?
It doesn't
No,
matter.
no, I don't. No.
That's not
No.
the point. The point is that what he said was not right.
Yeah.
Was
It was
Mark,
a cheap shot at another club and it backfired.
was Mark on Sky? No, somebody else.
No.
Alan says that shirt suits you. Should wear it on Thursday.
Not allowed colours in the press
Oh, no,
box,
you're not.
sadly.
Well, unless you work for one of the clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think you're allowed to wear the replica shirt, are you?
I can't see it being enforced, that policy.
Of all the Super League, like teams pitching up in the same kit as. We need to talk about Boynton's kit in a bit. We need to talk
You
about
mean like coaches turn up at the press conferences?
a £5,000 fine potentially. Have you no shame, asked Graham?
No.
No.
We should know that by now.
Yeah.
I've been on this show for 5 years.
None of us
Come
got
on.
any shame.
What's the best beach in England? Blackpool, Morecambe, or Headingley? Oh,
Yeah, Headingley. It's got to be.
Yeah.
If I got rid of them green bits around the edge, it'd be perfect.
I'm
Speak some
blessed.
surf.
Well, once
Players running out with
Huh?
buckets and spades.
Once what was he described as yesterday? Brave, or it wasn't great. Brave, was it?
Who?
Yorkshire Carnegie. What were they described as?
No, what's brave? What's the word
Was
along
it
that
brave?
thing?
It
wasn't
was something like
They
that.
lost
wasn't
by
it?
70 odd
Yeah,
points.
73, 20 odd. And he described as brave. And it wasn't brave, it was a word beginning with G. Something in that.
Turgid.
Gallant.
Gallant. No,
Gallant
it was
use.
something like that, wasn't it? It's like-
Gigantically crap.
Oh, crap, yeah.
Yeah.
Lost by 50 points at home. And you pick.
Well,
That's why the
words
pitch is rubbish.
basket and case in the report.
They've
When-
got
when-
no money.
When they stop existing,
They won't stop existing. There'll be a smaller version.
than they are now with their big crowds.
No, well.
So the pitch is still going to be bad. What is Rich
I
going to
know
do
it
if
won't,
Bradford
because
beat
they won't
Wakefield?
be playing on the pitch.
I'll still be here.
What is Rich going to do for Bradford Beat? I don't want to
He's
know.
going to be
I don't
deported.
want to know.
I'll still be here. Rugby,
We're
isn't it?
thinking about hiring a padded cell
Yeah.
just in case.
Well, I think they're already building one at Bellevue probably at the minute.
We've been
So it's
there
all
3
right.
weeks.
The mobile rocket. So yeah, no,
Very
I
good.
can't wait for next Friday. Can't wait not to be there.
Oh,
But, never
Are you
mind.
going
Are you
now?
not going?
Well, I'm gonna have to go out because it's a day when I can go, so I'll have to be there. But that's a shame. Someone's asked the modern stadiums. I can't remember. Someone on Twitter. The Toronto versus St Helens crowd, a nice round number. It's almost like they were playing in
Yeah.
the Rugby Union Premiership.
Unbelievable. That they
4,000
could get
people exactly.
exact round number.
Wow.
You could have counted them while you weren't there.
No, there were quite a lot of Saints people there.
Was Sandy there?
I didn't see her.
She was.
She will have been.
Yeah, she's everywhere.
Yeah.
She was on your effects, man.
Oh.
I think Sandy
so-
thought I was having a go at her on Twitter the other day, but I wasn't.
Okay. So Hull beaten by the Dragons. The Dragons have got some very good players.
We said this last week, but at this stage of the season, does it help if you played less games?
Yeah.
So that when you get to the end of matches, you're a little bit fresher.
Yeah. McNamara said that, so they had 2 weeks to prepare.
Yeah.
That's why he was annoyed with the first hour. Then
Yeah.
they went to how they wanted to play. But I said, well, all right, that's good. You had 3 games in 5 weeks, but what about when you've got 3 games in a week? And it was like, it's mad. Sorry, he said it's madness. They don't
Yeah.
even know yet when they're going to be able to play those
Well,
games.
they can't because
Which comes back down to who the hell had them playing at St Helens on that weekend is, you know, it's just ludicrous.
well, the other thing as well is that you've got to try and fit it in on a cup weekend. Well, with the greatest respect to Catalan and St Helens, they could be playing each other at Wembley.
Yeah,
They
of
could
course
quite
they could.
easily get
Yeah.
through to
Or another semi-final.
Wakefield again. You know, you if they play as well as they did this week, you wouldn't write them off winning 4 games and getting to Wembley, would you? So
Wakefield.
I'm just trying to win the brown point back. You know,
Thanks
it's
to
not-
Rob, by the way, it was gutsy, the word I was
Gutsy.
Yeah.
Gutsy.
It meant all the players had guts. No.
When I used to play for my school and I was crap, gutsy.
Except for Matty Louise.
Yeah, it's like the coach that says my players tried hard. And you think I could have got 17 blocks out of the stand would try hard. Don't mean you're going to win, does it?
Well, there are clubs abroad building squads on that basis.
There are.
I'm going to try hard and try every game in League One. That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're ready to go.
So
Young
Catalans,
Empire.
and are they?
The real deal.
In- yeah,
This
so
week they
fair,
are. They
they-
were.
you know.
Well, we said at the start of the season with the players they've brought in and the squad they've got, and this was before they signed for now. They've got a very talented squad, haven't they? James Maloney, we always knew was going to be an exciting player. Can't kick drop goals, apparently. I was listening to the
I admit.
I listened to the radio homicide commentary yesterday until they got cut off just after the game, which was quite
Oh,
funny.
did they?
Yeah. So that was interesting. Because
You
he went
missed-
very
you missed
quiet
one.
when they went to
They were,
score.
they were a little bit unlucky because they were right underneath the post, and I think Cassiano broke through, got brought down, quick play the ball, and Ellis banged his head. So they had to stop playing. And then from the play of the ball, the pass was a shock at Maloney, and he missed. He should have kicked it. And then everyone from 40 yards, which was just wide, and then Sneed obviously goes up there and kicks it. You think, oh, game's done, but it wasn't.
But
And
he's obviously not here for a holiday, as some
No.
people have been in the past.
no,
The interesting thing is that is a game that over the last 2 or 3 seasons, Catalan would definitely have lost. And
Yes.
we've all been
Oh,
talking
yeah.
They
about
had by
their-
60 minutes.
their
haven't
travel
they?
sickness
Yeah.
and they can't play away from it. And what Maloney and Tompkins, when he's on his game, will bring is the fact that now where we play is irrelevant. It's how we play. And if they can change that mentality, then yes, they should be challenging for the top 5.
yeah, I think they would have to on that basis.
I wish there was a little bit more younger French talent in and around their squad. I know that they're trying to bring some players through, and they signed a couple of the guys from Toulouse. But I watched the highlights of Toulouse when they're put up on social media, and that is undisputably a French team. The way that they approach the game, the way they play the game, the flair with which they clearly is in their DNA. And I was sort of hoping that Catalan would be that as well, and it's more functional at the moment.
You need to be a winning team.
But you've
sure.
got to win for it, yeah.
But
But-
playing a French way doesn't
No,
win
you
things.
have, well, and you've got Bernard with his meat cleaver at training. You have to win.
It's a good job Fala's not a vegan, isn't it? Otherwise he would be in trouble. But you know,
Does he like vegan?
I don't know. But now he's started playing, you know, all the other stuff will just start to disappear off into the background now.
Oh, for
Because
every
something
game he
else will happen.
plays and for every contribution he makes, then all the furore around him, which should still be highlighted, will get forgotten.
I think the fact that he didn't play at Wakey in week 2 has given him a bit of not a free roll.
Yeah.
There was a boo yesterday when he touched the ball for the first time.
One boo.
I just said it
Boo
were
Owens.
like 5 or 6 fans really went right, get it, boo. And then if you went, oh, it's full out, oh, boo, and then if boo. And that was it after that. Well, to be fair, I don't think he touched it for another 20 minutes, so he didn't exactly go looking for work.
You think he's playing rugby union still?
Yeah, I think so. He did a nice little flick pass near the line and nearly scored. So, look, there were signs there. The guy can play quite clearly. You know, he's still got the talent. Didn't do enough work, in my opinion. McNamara said he was disappointed they didn't use him more to kick to and things like that. But
I'd be
they looked a
surprised
decent team
if he's
yesterday.
fit enough to be.
Oh no, and that might be what it is. They might have said
Not,
to him,
not
we
fit
don't
as
need
he's
to
clearly not on
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
might have
It's a
said, don't do
different sort of
anything,
fitness.
let them do
It's-
it and we'll get you
Yeah.
back, you know, I'm sure in
Building
week 8
fitness
he'll
game,
be
I
able to
also
do all
think that for every game they play at home, he will start to gain a status because I think the issues there are different to protests over here,
that. Yeah.
and
There
that'll
was
build,
no protest yesterday. Nothing.
that'll build his confidence. Well, what's going to happen at Wigan in week 6 when I have?
I don't know.
Have you tried to sign him? That
Well-
needs to be highlighted. That needs to be
Well,
highlighted.
this is a question. I was
You
going to
can't
ask you
complete
yesterday,
hypocrisy.
McNamara, and I didn't. Well, I got rather put off when he
Said he
mentioned
might have
it.
the coronavirus.
He might have the coronavirus.
He did a runner. He did a runner,
Nobody
didn't
else
he?
asked him a question after that. He was like, right, thanks,
Go
Steve.
away, Steve. Bye, Steve.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Breathe in,
Has
Steve.
anyone got any wipes from your phone?
That's what Private Devon needs to do when he comes into the presser on Thursday and just said, they've got coronavirus, lads.
Just come in with a mask. No, ask a question.
Yeah, oh dear. I was going to ask him, because he's only got a 1-year deal full out.
And
We
he's
all
up
know
to
what
Roosters.
it's like. Is he?
Well, that's what he said in the papers the other way, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Roosters were linked with him. And
Well, it'll be
obviously,
interesting.
Super League is the dumping ground, so he's got to prove himself.
It'll
that he
be
can go home.
interesting who in Super League, where the morals are if he has an outstanding season and is available on a decent contract.
What are morals?
I don't know.
I think he'll be in Valencia before we know it.
Yeah.
That's
On
it.
holiday.
No, they got Benidorm. They turn right. They got
New
Benidorm.
York. Sid, remember last week everyone was like, be kind on social media, which lasted about 2 minutes. Sensible decision to remove the lead shirt. The hoops did him no favours. It's a bit harsh, isn't it? It's a bit
Come on,
harsh.
Sid. If I had a different agent, I'd be playing at Rovers. You know it.
Hello to Hannah, who's Hannah Reid, who's listening to the show for the first time, says Neil.
Okay.
It's like it's inspired by Joe Wiley pitching up at Headingley on Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
We're now turned into like a radio programme.
Did you play any banging tunes?
I don't know, I wasn't there.
Oh, right,
I was
okay.
gonna
What
go
did you
down
play
and-
banging
Well,
tunes?
you're
for?
asking the wrong person, aren't you? Kid of the 70s, you're asking if she played it. I didn't recognise any of them, did I?
I just thought it was bizarre how they went back to the 90s and they were in both Leeds and Warrington won sod all.
Yeah,
It's a bit odd.
yeah. Used
They
to be
did,
good
they
guy,
did, they
in
did
the
play each
90s.
other in the first game of Super League.
Did they?
Their respective first
Yeah.
games was at Headingley, and Warrington won, and some kid called Yestin Harris was outstanding that year.
He's not Welsh though.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Kieran Cunningham who wasn't really Welsh, wasn't it, when he turned them down.
Tony Cascarino, I think.
Fair enough.
Oh, they kept the-
So, we'll go on then. We will go to Hull KR Cass, the game on Thursday night. I think we got what we expected, didn't we? Or I certainly did.
First half, okay, were very good. Surprisingly.
Were they
Good
very
of them.
good?
I thought they were the way they moved the
Were they
ball.
gutsy? Were they gutsy?
They were gutsy. Obviously, with a smaller forward pack, they moved the ball around. They went to short sides. They put up quite a good fight. Cass bombed a couple of tries. McMeekin dropped the ball on the line, but it did always have that sort of.
It
Cass
felt to me
long-
exactly like the derby. Whereas Hull never got out of second gear and still
Yeah.
won, and Cass didn't
It
get out
was-
of second
yeah.
gear and still won. That's what it felt like.
There
to
was
me.
a bit, but when you got there and you saw that Holgar were missing 9 of their
Oh, look,
starting
doing it
17,
better.
and
And
that's
two
fine.
of them then went off not feeling well.
Yeah, I mean, are they cursed? At the moment, there's
Some-
just,
I think
Somebody
Sid's, I think
walked
Sid's
under a ladder.
cursed
It's cursed.
inadvertently.
and I think they've got Wigan.
Yes, they have.
They have.
Wigan away.
Yeah,
And Wigan, who I've watched them I think 3 times this year, they look good. And
that win in round 1 for over Wakefield's looking very precious. Right now.
it is. It is. Who would you be if you're the owner of the respective clubs at the bottom? Toronto haven't won. Hull KR have. Who would be more worried at the moment, do you think?
I think the thing in Holkar's favour is obviously they've got a lot of injuries. They're going to start to get some of those players back. They also can recruit. They've got space in the cap. Toronto can't recruit. I mean, the whole thing with Chase Stanley, they can't actually register him because he'll put them over the cap. So they've got to send someone out before they can actually play him.
Okay.
So do you know what I mean? They may have the
Yeah.
money, but they can't actually bring
Well,
anyone in.
they're trying to sign Instagram's Mason Caton Brown on a trial, according to the paper today.
Are they?
Yeah,
I think he's turned them down.
he has. He makes more money on Instagram than he does on trial.
I think the thing about Toronto in their favour is that when they do go back to playing in Canada,
I don't
Which
think
is
that's
another
necessarily.
5-6
Yeah.
rounds or whatever.
I don't
I think
think-
it'll be harder for some of the opposition coming out that they're playing. But
How many
Will it-
how
will
many
it be
fit
a loss-
players?
will it
How
be
many
a lost
fit players
cause
are they
by
going to have?
Well,
playing?
will the interesting one be, and to a certain degree we saw it in the Championship, is that teams that don't have anything to play for
Mhm.
just sent whoever they could rent.
and they look
could
at
get
who
out
they're
there.
playing the week after and say,
Is
actually,
that,
that's
is,
a-
that, is that going to happen in
I
Super
don't
League,
think-
whereby teams will say we're only sent because it is going to be on an artificial. You see that I thought they slipped up by playing on grass at the weekend. They were going to play at Saracens, which was a 4G. Saints notoriously leave players out on the 4G.
Yeah.
Should they have done? You know,
Gone
have
to
they
trial
dropped?
finders.
Have they dropped a bit of
Is
a
that
ball?
why John Wilkins is still playing then over here and delaying his operation? Because he might be better off on grass than he would.
No,
on
I think it's they're
field.
just trying to have enough fit bodies.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the
And
only
fair
issue.
play to him for doing that. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
You can ease it. So.
But I mean, that what kind of like player welfare is that?
Jack
well, if
Welch,
he's offering to play,
Yeah. Well, is he offering, or is he kind of like, well, I will play, even though?
well,
I think-
I
I
think
think
you're not telling
most
him if you don't want
squads-
to play.
yeah,
you don't
most
play.
squads these days have got players who
Yeah.
technically shouldn't be playing on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Jack Wells picked him up from Wigan.
Mm. Yeah.
Do you think they'll find any other squad players
Yeah,
who
no, there's
are
deals to be done.
just above academy level perhaps and haven't
Yeah.
been given a chance?
There's-
I don't think that's
I
going to
think-
do it.
No,
Well,
is that going to
yeah.
be enough in Super
No.
League?
I mean, you look at I look at the stats on the weekend and a few tweets from people yesterday. It is their spine, which is a real issue. They don't really create enough. And the errors. I mean, Sonny Bill Williams has only played 4 games and he's made the most errors in Super League. But
He's also made the most
Maludi
offloads.
and Kay and McCrone are also in the top 10.
But that's
So if you're just
somehow-
making that many mistakes every week,
But that's also the way you play. That if you're going to be a team that is
And
going to
if they don't
promote
cha-
the ball,
and if they don't change the way they play, they're going to keep losing.
they're not going to change the
Yeah.
way they play. Because I don't think they can.
You could see it at St Helens. They kept trying to shift the ball,
Mm.
and their skills just couldn't. they
But
couldn't
the fact that Gigon played, I mean, a couple of his passes were a bit indifferent. Weren't
And
they?
Yeah,
it's
but-
the wrong weather as well.
Well-
You know, as we get longer into the summer, that style of play, some of those passes will stick.
Yeah, they may do, but
Potentially.
some,
But
of,
it's
the,
a
some of the
question of-
passes
Yeah.
against them will stick as
Well,
well.
when you start manning loss after loss, your confidence is going to get.
Well,
you know.
let's go back to Hull KR then, obviously, in the midst of an
Mm-hmm.
injury crisis. They are 1 win off the bottom. They are doing it tough. Great news, by the way, Mossy Massoy in his video
Yes.
about
Yeah.
which, fingers crossed, continue. I mean, that's quite a quick development from where we thought it would be, so we hope that carries on. But they're struggling. They are struggling with injuries, aren't they? And that is the worry, isn't it, for them?
And inexperience,
Yeah.
and the lack of size.
Yes.
And I think, again, we've talked about the style with which teams want to play. They clearly want to move the ball, as Toronto do, as in some respects Leeds do, certainly St Helens do. And the thing about that is that if you haven't got the same people out every week, it's a really difficult out there playing every week.
Yeah.
It's a really difficult style for somebody to come into.
Yeah.
And the worry for Hull KR this year was that they recruited so many players who were new, and that was going to take time to gel anyway. Then to be missing half of those players that you bought in, and trying every week to integrate a new player in a key position, it's really difficult. I just think those games between Hull KR and Toronto, possibly Salford, you'll know better than me because you've seen more of them. And Ian Watson just doesn't seem happy at the moment, but they have a quality of player there. They're just not playing to that potential. You can see some games coming up in the not too distant future where sides who are gravitating towards the bottom will play each other, and they are going to be massive.
When Hull KR play Toronto,
that
in a
suddenly
couple of
becomes
weeks,
a
that
massive
is,
game.
yeah. I mean, particularly if both of them hadn't won a game since then. I mean, if Hull KR go 4 points above Toronto, or if Toronto win, that's massive. for
What I
Toronto.
thought was odd this week with Toronto were the comments of Brian McDermott after the game, because clearly you're never going to question his coaching capabilities on the basis of the fact that he is the most successful Super League coach in the history of the game. But
Of Super League.
yeah, I've said Super League coach, not clearly.
The game, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't part of the St George team that won 11 consecutive premierships in the 50s. But every week he said, I'm really encouraged because I can see things where we're getting better. And every week we said, yeah, I can buy into that. You know, for an hour they were really good against Wigan. But he said it after the game on Saturday. And I'm not sure there were too many saving graces on that performance. I think they were gutsy.
Some of that defence was Warrington-esque. I mean, Johnny Lomax, he's got a great step, but he had to do nothing.
Well, there
were
and the Bentley try without a hand laid
Well,
on,
the Bentley try, someone just kind of went like that, and he just kind of, you could see his reaction, the biggest smile on his face. I don't think he's
Have we had any news on him today? I haven't read the paper.
I think they're looking at a few weeks was the initial.
Okay. They're going to need a centre.
It looked worse than that.
But, and I know Brian's talking up a trip to Heading League this week, where, again, I think they're going to be harder to beat than a lot of people will think, because
they had a bad day the other night. They had a bad day.
But I didn't
Against
see...
the champions.
Yeah. I didn't see it encouraging.
I would agree with that, but they had a bad day.
That's a big result for St Helens, though. Because I think the manner in which they played, it doesn't matter who they were playing, psychologically coming down from that World Club Challenge, where the intensity and the speed of that game was greater than anything, and they prepared themselves to be up in a peak, to the following week not concede a point. That's a really good result for St Helens.
Yeah. I thought Saints, we all know how good they are here. I thought they probably strengthened how good they are last week.
I think the attitude they played with was fantastic.
I think once they named the squad, you knew it was going to be a tough night for Toronto.
When they put the graphic up on Thursday on Sky and it says head-to-head record, it was Leeds 0, Toronto 1.
Yes.
They beat them in the qualifiers.
Yeah.
With a drop goal.
Yeah.
The glory days of Toronto, they call them now.
Yes, they do. On their worst ever run of results.
Yeah.
Never been rubbish before.
No, I know. In 90 odd games.
They'll be going to watch the Argonauts or something. They won't be going to watch Wolfpack in the summer.
They want to watch them. I mean, there comes a point where you go to sport because you need to have downs to celebrate the ups. And if you see your team win almost continuously, apart from London's magnificent result there in the playoffs the year before, you get attuned to the fact that we turn up our team. Well, that's not sport. What you want to do is go through some adversity and turn up not knowing if your team is going to win, and that's a far more worthwhile spectating experience.
I don't think Warrington fans agree with you there, Phil.
Phil's caveat there reminds me of when Lee Clark was in charge of Huddersfield Town.
Oh, when they were that massive unbeaten.
But he ignored all the games they lost in the playoffs. Oh, they don't count.
They had a 49 game unbeaten run but lost in the playoffs and didn't get promoted. Oh, right, okay. Yes.
Where is Lee Clark these days?
Who cares? Lee, if you listen.
Yeah.
Right.
Sandy's watching now, so you have to be nice.
No, we don't.
We're honest.
We're
honest. Honest.
Now, Sandy, I wasn't talking about you when I said all the same guests are being recycled around all the same programmes. I didn't realise you were on the BBC podcast this week. I meant the same players. Luke Gale's on Betfred's show this week.
Dig up,
Danny
stupid.
Richardson's on Rugby AM. It's the same people going around the same programmes. We've heard their stories once. Now we're hearing them for the second and third times because we're hearing the same voices. This is the benefit of having a show where it's just the same voices every week.
Well, we'd love to have some guests on, but never.
Would we?
We'll move.
Oh, we're trying to get some.
We'll move.
You've got no reply to that?
No.
He's not coming on.
I think I've been blocked by the RFL.
Again.
They only seem to contact me when I've done something wrong.
Are they in France?
Hello.
Right, okay, so Castleford, I said they're finishing the bottom four. I'm getting a bit worried now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, I'm not getting a bit worried because I don't want them to finish in the bottom four. Yeah, they looked all right. Again, without getting out of second gear. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do at Warrington.
Yeah, it's a big test. I didn't think they'd be in the bottom three, but I didn't think they made the five. At the moment, they're looking quite good. Now missing quite a few players, but they're very well drilled. Danny Richardson seems to be growing with every week, and that Warrington game. I mean, if they can beat Warrington, that's a big year for the Tigers. I think.
We'll talk about Warrington in a bit.
I think the thing about the Tigers is that some of the players that underperformed last year to their potential. are hitting the straps that they were playing 2 or 3 years ago. So
Graham Millington was great.
Millington's.
I didn't know he could play without a bandage on his knee. I've never seen him.
It's the Phil Kaplan bandage.
There's something different going on here.
He's off contract. He always play well when you're off contract.
I think Darryl Powell said that.
He did. I was there. He said it. Yeah.
Paul McShane, obviously a key influence in the middle of the field. And
Why didn't he pass? Why didn't he pass? He didn't do
Daryl
a pass,
Alford's been a good signing for him.
Yeah, so with no Fecky, I presume Clare will get bombed out. Well, he's doing all right. He scored a nice try again at the
they're
weekend.
both playing well enough to say that the guy's going to have to earn his place.
Well, that wasn't necessarily the case at Warrington. Look what it's done to them. They picked the team on name rather than on form, and they've gone backwards ever since. Cassem, Phil, can they make the 5, do you think?
Yeah, I think there's 2 or 3 teams that you're looking at the moment that you can say going to be towards the top. St Helens clearly, Wigan, I think. But this early in the season, Wigan are looking very impressive. Normally they're a team that takes some time to warm up. I think we're looking at some teams that we know are going to be towards the bottom. We've mentioned Toronto and Hull KR. But everybody else is a chance for the 5 or to be involved in the relegation mix. And Castleford and Hull and Leeds, Warrington at the moment are all in those teams that
Wakefield
could make the 5. Well, Wakefield.
What do you think, Rich?
Back
One
on
in
the
a
wagon,
row.
aren't
One
they?
in a row.
Yeah.
One in a row.
Yeah.
I get the t-shirt.
On form. You're only as good as your last game,
On
Rich.
form, yeah. Do I think Castle made the 5?
Yeah.
I can't remember what I said at the start of the season.
I asked you. I said, I'm asking you now.
But the way they played at the minute, yeah.
Right.
Playing well.
Very good.
Ollie Holmes scoring tries and stuff.
Easter's the time to take it.
Okay.
Oh, there's only one
Wasn't
round
a
goal.
game.
Yeah.
But
Difficult
they
Easter
are,
period.
no, look, they're going all right.
There's a lot of
They're
eggs
going
you
all
got
right.
to eat at Easter, Rich.
They're going all right, Castleford, which is good. They're going significantly
Yes,
better.
they've got Wire and Saints next, says
Right.
Jason. So that's the
Well,
big
that-
test
well,
for their
Well,
credentials.
we'll assess
Jason
something
Robinson,
in the
not
next
that
2
one.
weeks.
Not that one.
Okay.
Well, it's a bit like Huddersfield at the moment, who have come up against the Wigan team where we said last week that'll be a test. They've got Saints this week. Now they've got a hit back from a very disappointing performance. We'll get a measure of how Huddersfield will go. Will they challenge for the 5, or will there be one of those teams perhaps in the middle?
Does it say something about the perhaps more realistic nature of Huddersfield's fans, or the fact that they haven't got as higher expectations as others, as they haven't come in off yesterday's result saying doom and gloom, sack everybody?
I think there's a
Kind
few
of
have
thing.
been a bit like that.
Are they?
I
Oh.
think if you like that, I don't think you really understand the game. I mean, that was going to be a tough ask anyway, and obviously it had an implosion when Caesar got sin-binned and the game quickly got away from them. Wigan so I think you said it a couple of Wigan are sneakily good.
The
They
balance,
are
the balance
sneakily
looks
good.
good.
Yeah.
And they've got competition for places.
Yeah.
So I think one of the highlights of the weekend, Liam Marshall's try.
Wow, what a try.
Yes. Lovely.
Not only,
Pure speed.
but he saw.
Yeah, he saw the
backed
gap,
himself.
yeah.
That was like almost, dare we say it, because hopefully he's listening because he's been on. That was like Scower. He looks up, sees that the fullback and the winger have come to, chips over the top.
Yeah.
Somebody else would have had to have run through to get that for him, but.
It's a lot quicker.
But he saw something and he acted on it. He didn't feel impelled that because it's a kick-off and it's the first tackle, I'll just run it as hard as I can and get smacked. He just thought, space there, I'll back myself. And apart from the fact that he executed it magnificently, it's just great to see that somebody was prepared to,
I'm just waiting for World Rugby to retweet it.
Well, the International Rugby League did that.
Yeah.
They tweeted this morning saying, here's something you can nick on, whatever. But no, in better words than I put there.
Yeah.
So the war's on. The war's still on. People think the war's over. We are very much the Japanese people in the jungle coming out in the 1970s.
Speaking of the jungle, what were you doing 3 years ago today?
66-10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but how did that
the
end
the
up?
problem is, we know that story ends.
And the funny
Well,
thing about...
no, some people will laugh, but I think we can still win the
No,
grand
but
final.
that's why I'm almost loath to say that when he said on Saturday that he was encouraged, that he's seen something that us mere mortals haven't, because he did come in after that game at Castleford and go,
Yeah, he doesn't
don't
have Danny Maguire
don't
and
write us off.
Barrow and Callum Watkins and yeah.
but yes,
What is he going to? He's going to need Super League to fail a drug test en masse. That's the only reason he won that grand final.
11 other teams to complete.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But to come in after such a comprehensive defeat, when you've been absolutely played off the park, and say, don't rule us out,
To be fair, no one would have taken him on anyway, would they? Not Brian.
Well, that's why I do think it'd be a tougher game on Thursday. A lot of people are saying. I think he will come knowing exactly how to beat Leeds.
I think what you'll find on Thursday is how much those players respect him.
Yes.
Because they'll know what it means to him.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the type of guy who'll go around saying, I want you to do this because of this. I think the guy should pull himself together and say, look, he's going back.
I think they'll have a dig, but I just don't think
the shame is that he doesn't have Brad Singleton, because again, there's another player who really would have upped his game. Well,
ex-Leeds.
Yeah, I think Singleton's first game against his old club at his old home ground. A go forward man.
What reception will Brian McDermott get from the South Stand? Would you say?
Well, they didn't like him when he was there.
Well, that's what happened. They'll love him, won't they? Because he's not coaching the team.
But,
No, I think the interesting thing, if we're talking about coaches, and that one person who clearly isn't under pressure, who a lot of people thought would be, is Richard Agar.
He's doing a great job. Isn't
whilst time is something that nobody has ever. Like we've gone from literally Hull in week 1 were invincible and Warrington produced the consummate performance in week 2
by not playing in week 2.
Yeah,
because if they got Huddersfield and lost again,
absolutely,
it's got a different slant on week 3, hasn't it?
But I think what we're seeing is the building blocks you put in place that take time.
Yeah,
and he was criticised just by virtue of outsiders' ideas of what he'd done at other clubs, and actually there is a difference being made, but you can only measure that over time.
But the only people criticising him are the people that criticise anything and everything.
Yes.
But
that's the
again,
world
we've said this when he got the gig. All the players like him. I don't mean at Leeds, wherever he's played, all speak highly of him as a coach. Sinfield, who I've criticised on this show, some of the signings now are starting to bear fruit. The Gale thing, I saw the merit in it. For me, it was a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Cass, it was a gamble keeping him. He could have brought down. For Leeds, it's a gamble signing him. But it almost suits both parties, I think. And it's great. It's great to see him back. It's great to see him back playing well. Love it. Absolutely love it.
He was super. I mean, there were so many good performers and eye-catching performers. That what you don't see is the guy who does it over 80 minutes and is the bloke who is the catalyst that everything else happens around, and that was Luke Gale on Friday. He was superb.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
He's really getting back to his best form, which is
which hasn't taken him very long, has it? Really, when you think how long he's been out.
And as Richard Agar said, the combination of him and Robert Louis have only been together in 4 games. If they stay fit and out there, it'll only get better.
What's the crap with Walker? What's his injury doing now?
I think he was having a scan today.
Ankle.
Yeah, ankle, and the initial indication was it didn't look good. So I suspect he'll be missing a few weeks.
Syndesmosis.
There's a very good one.
That's what I thought he's got. Yeah. Hopefully
it
went underneath him, didn't it?
Hopefully he hasn't. I like Walker.
High ankle sprain.
He's improved.
First 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You would have been saying if you're going to pick 2 fullbacks for England, pick Sam Tompkins because he's been there, done it. Pick Jack Walker because he could learn a lot in a camp off somebody like Sam.
Why has he got rid of the headgear, Phil? Do you know?
Well, yeah, didn't he have a head knock as a kid? He might just feel a bit more confident. I don't know.
It should be one of those things like Steve Menzies. If you start off in a headgear, you got to stay through your whole career.
Don't think he's going to be selling any.
Yeah.
So when he's 47.
Yeah, Thurston stuff. Yeah.
Still got it on.
How was Mr. Thurston? You saw him.
He was great.
Enjoyable.
He was great. He revealed that surprise, Warrington tried to sign him.
But they wanted to play him at prop.
I mean, if we go back to Adam Pearson's comments at the start of the programme, why hasn't he come out about other clubs who may or may not spend lots of money? I don't know why I've just thought of that, but
it's a fair point. That is a fair point.
Like on the foreigners.
To be honest, I'm not sure anybody has spent more money across the squad than Hull have this year. When you look at who they've brought in some really good players who won't have come cheap. Now they delayed it by a year because they had a mass clear out.
That's to save up.
But it's all very well criticising somebody else when.
Do they actually have any marquees though? Are there any of those players? They've never really publicly acknowledged a marquee.
I would be surprised if Manu Mao isn't close to being a marquee on the basis of the fact that
because they'd completed their squad when Fanua became available. Well, then again, they would still have to have some money left, wouldn't they, to get him under.
I think Manu Mao was in demand with other NRL clubs.
Yes, he was.
And
That's
a
true.
current Tongan international, and I think he's the
Yeah.
kind of guy that if you're going to get him over, you've
Yeah.
got to pay him top dollar. So
Yeah, no, I think that's fair.
he'd be one, I would think.
There he goes. We'll talk about Warrington at 7 o'clock when the biscuits come.
Oh,
What's happening on? Hold on, there are biscuits, aren't
there are
Good
You-
biscuits.
Has there been mail from London?
there? You know what? I was been to the shop. I was going to buy some more, but I didn't.
There are. I think there is
Yeah,
chocolate.
Good, that's good. What's happening on social media?
Everyone likes Conrad Hurrell because he did some daft stuff on the.
Yeah, well,
He
But
needs
he's a
to get
character.
his own TV show. He's great. The dancing. That's
What, like Anthony Gelling? No.
Oh,
The,
Phil!
yeah, you're off. You're off.
The-
Phil.
You get Simbin these days for trying to pick up the ball, a la Ryan Briley the other night. What the hell is going on in rugby league? They both ran to pick the ball up. They bounced off each
I
other.
don't know.
It's a ball decision, and I'm not having yellow cards for that. And then Will Dagger gives him the old bosh straight in the
He got
chops.
nothing. Yeah.
Nothing.
That was
Right,
unusual.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Grant Million's going to suffer life-changing injuries.
Well, Tony
as a result
Smith-
of running it around Briley.
Tony
Someone gets
Smith-
smacked in the
He
face.
said
Yeah,
that
don't
sin
worry
binning
about
was
it.
harsh. He didn't have a comment
was
on the
pathetic.
non-sin binning of.
I get the
Tony.
legend back on. He would say pathetic.
I think what
He
we'll
would have
see
been out
is
for 3 weeks if he'd taken that. out.
Rod Studd will be bringing us the inside gem on all of those decisions the next
the our
time.
league, yeah.
He's on our league telling us about the disciplinary
Good to look
process.
forward to it.
What I think is odd though is the Bodine Thompson one.
Yeah.
Because again, if we're serious about player welfare, you were there, you'll have seen it in real time. We see it on the television. And,
Dare I suggest,
but that looked
if
like
Toronto
a ban
had
to me.
a squad of 25 players fit and ready, would he have got a ban?
I'm not sure that's the preserve.
That is the,
but
that is $1 million
I just
question.
find it
isn't
odd.
it?
Seriously.
I think it sets a very dangerous precedent that
It was
somebody
a
who
shocker.
clearly
It was a
shoulder
shocker.
charge.
Shoulder to the head.
It was a
Yeah.
shocker.
It says 0 matches. We've spoken about it before on this programme, and SCO is a big exponent of it. Make an example of people and they won't do it again. That's almost open slather on somebody wishing to shoulder charge somebody.
Yeah.
Can you talk about Harry Smith while I go find me a bottle of water? Because Don keeps asking.
Yes,
me.
I like him. I've
Absolutely
seen him.
brilliant.
Wait, I forget where it was the first
England
time I saw
Knights.
him. No, I saw him. Yeah, but I've seen him this season, and he played the full game. Wigan were at home. Oh damn, I forget who they were playing.
Warrington.
Toronto.
Yeah, it might have been Warrington. Yeah, played really well. I like him. I think he's. You know what? He's got a bit of a cockiness. He is your traditional number 7. Walks around with a bit of a swagger. Happy to have the ball. He's got a really good kicking game. What I've seen of him, I like him, and I think the fact that Lamb put him in says a lot that they'll like him as well. I think we'll see a lot more of him.
I also think that Jackson Hastings is really starting to find his feet at Wigan.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, like I said last week, quietly going about
Yeah,
his work. He's
yeah.
not the big.
Made more
Mr.
carries than anyone else in Super League.
I know. I
It's
always
crazy
see that.
for a
If I'm a
halfback.
coach, I'm going, whoa.
Yeah,
whoa,
just
whoa,
pass
whoa.
the ball.
But it's like Lomax, to be fair. Lomax gets cracked a lot
Yeah.
because he plays at the line, doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Playing at the line is exactly what the best
Yeah.
scrum halves and standoffs, particularly standoffs in an era when it was only 5 metres, were always encouraged to do.
Yeah.
I've no idea.
There
where
is
I-
Jonathan Thurston
Yeah,
with
I've
us.
no idea where I put my water.
Where do you want?
I don't know.
Is it downstairs?
We'll ask
Why don't you
Brian.
go down and have a look?
No,
Brian will bring it.
Where? I don't know. Anyway, we
Brian.
talk about Harry Smith.
Has,
Yeah.
Chris Ashton.
has
is he
Richard
coming
left his
back?
water downstairs?
I don't know.
I don't think I did because I filled my mug up here, so I must have put it down.
Oh,
somewhere.
there you go. Oh, look at that. Oh, there's only 6, so someone's going to miss out. Oh, never mind. We'll have
Yeah,
that
Chris
discussion.
Ashton. What, is he coming back?
I don't know.
Oh, Chris Ashton to Toronto. Not that they need a winger.
Yeah.
Chris Ashton.
Chris Ashton.
A man who.
He'd be,
Former,
he'd be,
Oh, all right. You can't have a biscuit, can
No,
you?
no.
he'd be off. He'd be off quote. He'd be off salary cap, wouldn't he?
Do you remember when he
You're
said,
a
do
bit
you
harsh.
remember when he left
Bit
it?
harsh.
He wrote a book and he said, oh, he was all crap at Wigan and stuff. Because he's one of those. Took the shilling.
Yeah.
And,
The trouble is, he's not what Toronto need at the moment. But he basically is a free body. He could go to Toronto. I
Nice
suppose.
biscuit, Steve.
Although-
Well done.
For expenses or?
Well, no, because he's a returning rugby union player, he wouldn't count on the cap.
Is that Saracens or?
they was at Sale.
Sale.
Did
Because
not
they-
sign it so?
So no, apparently he's left today with immediate effect. So and
Where's the
training at
tennis on
Sale
there?
and training at Manchester, it's down the road, isn't it?
Yeah, we're having a tennis on there. Because the big news today in rugby union is that the Six Nations might end up on Sky.
Yeah.
And as the quote I always bring up, and I've written about this before, Pat Young, who was the deputy head of sport of the BBC. They did a question and answer with him in 2002 because I have that long a memory that I remember these things. And he said, and I've gone back, it's still on the BBC website today, you can find a quote, I've tweeted it out. Rugby League has sold its soul to Sky and it has to live with that. Pat, what's happening now? Are the people in charge of the BBC going to say the same thing now when Rugby Union sells its soul to Sky?
Well, what do you think? I think it was in 2005 after the lucky Ashes win. Cricket went on Sky. That was a joke. Yeah.
If he was there, he'd be slapping
It
your
was
knee.
just a joke, Mark. It wasn't a lucky Ashes win, even though there was that
It's only on the
poor
ball.
Is that your biscuit?
Kasperwick's decision that wasn't. He was never out, never played it. But anyway, I was there.
What are you about? The one they flips it down the leg
Yeah,
side?
if there was
Oh,
what's her
come on,
name?
John, let
If there
it
was
go.
third umpire,
Let it
would've-
go.
Never. But no, they went to Sky cap in hand, didn't they? All the cricket. What impact has that had on cricket? Do you think?
Well, now they've had to invent the hundreds to put it back on
Which is just a farce.
free-to-air television.
Yeah.
You know, that is something the RFL would have done better than that. The hundreds. That is.
It's not
I mean,
gone
I like cricket.
20.
I like
Yeah, cricket's a great
but
game,
What
yeah.
the hell is it? I don't even know what it is, and I'm
No.
seeing people coming to play. I'm like, I'm not bothered.
You can understand 2020, but just to introduce the 100 now is just taken. Yeah.
We've made up teams.
But they've gone like, do you think is the national effect in terms of participation, the wider reach of the game, and the fact that everything's behind a paywall, cricket-wise?
Clearly less.
Yeah.
Participation-
And I think for rugby union,
Participation has plummeted, I think.
for rugby
Yeah.
union, obviously a lot of the Autumn internationals are on Sky, but the Six Nations is a global sporting competition, and to put that away from free to air.
Well, they get a lot of viewers of rugby union. I watch it when
No,
it's
that's
on.
what I mean. The people who aren't rugby union
They
fans
will watch
watch
it.
the Six Nations.
Yeah.
They're not going to watch it now, are they?
No,
Unless they've got Sky.
no.
I think it's a dangerous.
Has it got a Sky or
Well,
DAZN
it's
or whatever
in
it is?
DAZN. It's often DAZN. No, it's apparently in the news. It might go to Sky, so it might not. So I mentioned this earlier on the Twitter.
Is it a crude negotiating tactic?
Well, it could
do you
be.
think?
Well, to get some more money out of the BBC. The only thing that
less subtle
But that's why I think when it comes to the Super League rights, the grand final is something that they should, if it all goes to Sky again, they should make sure the grand final's on free to air as well, super fast. Because that is an event that people who aren't rugby league fans will go and watch.
Yeah.
Especially as it's almost always a sellout feel to it, even if it's
Yeah,
not
it's an event.
exactly every. You know, it's 70 odd
Like the
thousand at
test,
6
like,
o'clock on.
like the England Test matches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what again, memory plays tricks on you. But the thing about the Six Nations, when it was all in one place, it had a real cult following that went beyond whether you were a rugby union fan or not. When they start splitting up and putting different games on different channels, it's lost some of that magic.
some people see. No, I'm not going to do that joke.
Haha.
But you can work out where it's going. Tides of History was brilliant on Twitter. So is there now a gap in the market for Rugby League to create their own home nations tournament for the BBC? To which I said,
Well,
there's no room.
Well, should we be almost pleased because there's always been talk of a dual rugby channel. So if they are to invest in that, then they're clearly.
We become more valuable to fill.
Well, does it? I mean,
content.
yeah. That's
Is
what
there
I mean.
enough people? Because obviously there's people, rugby league people who hate rugby union and vice versa, but there are people who watch both.
Yeah.
Is there enough of those?
I think
both
I think there
viewers?
would be if you had something like the Six Nations as part of it. You know, if you've got the NRL, you've got Six Nations, you've got Super League.
Super Rugby, they've got Super Rugby.
You're suddenly looking at a channel that attracts people other than just rugby followers. And I think, yes, you're right, there is a natural animosity between the two, but not to the point where I think a lot of rugby league people watch rugby union just to go, I don't like it. So I think there would be a market for it.
The only thing that the BBC would break the bank for sports-wise, because this has been proven over the years. is
Gary
Wimbledon.
Lineker. Gary Lineker.
On Lineker. Chris Mann Lineker. Biggest rip off That's why you shouldn't pay your licence fee for Lineker. How he gets away with getting all that money. And he's also on the other side. He's on BT. When ITV pay Anton Deck billions of pounds, they don't pitch up on the BBC, do they? And
Golden
say,
handshake.
I'm over here now.
No, Golden
Bloody
Handcuffs.
Lineker.
It's hard
No,
when you're in
It's
rehab.
Wimbledon. It's Wimbledon. They will never lose Wimbledon because that's what they love. That is everything about the BBC.
And the Open Golf.
Well, they've lost that, haven't they? They've gone to Sky.
They're all on Sky
Are
now.
they?
I don't think the BBC's doing that well at the moment, Rich.
No.
Even without me kicking them. They do some things well. Although this week I had Saturday night off, so I was bored and watched because the XFL wasn't on because they were showing college basketball. So I watched old episodes of Scrum Down, which I've reviewed in the new Forty20 magazine when it's out in a few weeks.
Who won?
Well,
How did Bradford Nolan get on?
Well, they were on next week against
Oh.
Leeds because they're always on the bloody telly, aren't they? Them two. This was a second division match they showed. I don't know where all the first division teams were. York versus Lee at Clarence Street. It's well worth watching. There's a great half-time interview with David Noble of Doncaster. They're all on. It's all on there. It's all great. It's all good stuff.
Who was presenting it? John Elm?
No, he was doing the commentary. It was Nick Powell, currently of Sky Sports News, but
Oh,
then
right.
with his beard.
Cool.
But
Who
what
took
was-
over from Richard Madeley.
Yeah. Good old. Whatever happened to
Presenter.
Richard Madeley? But what was interesting was Scrum Down. This is the late 80s. So the matches were played on a Sunday afternoon. So we got the 1980s with all the technological differences we've got today in 2020. Our highlight show was on a Monday night at 1 o'clock, and this was on a Sunday night. Granted, it was at half 11, 10 o'clock. Well, it was on late, but it was on the same night the games were played. And even had highlights of a game of Carlisle versus Barrow. You had to get the footage from Border Television
big
by
com-
pigeon.
Big Cumbrian derby.
Yeah, but
You wouldn't want to miss that.
so
Crowd of
was
640.
that was on
1,000.
a Sunday night in 1988.
Sport
Granted,
was,
in the
sport
North
was
only.
bigger. Sport was bigger then, Rich.
Second division.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what channel was Love Island on? And
Well, it didn't exist then.
Exactly. Right, Warrington.
Yes, they're in crisis.
They are.
And
Yeah,
Steve
are they in T-shirt crisis?
Well, I don't know. Are there enough people
I
who
think
would
if-
buy a Warrington t-shirt? It's
They're,
only
they're
Widnes
only
fans,
in
isn't it?
crisis if they
Really?
lose to Castleford this week, because then they are.
They haven't won away since July.
I know.
Yeah.
And
They
they
beat
got,
'em.
was it 3 and 15?
They lost
Super
to
League games?
Wakefield. That's how bad they are. Even OKR beat Wakefield.
3 and 15.
Blooming heck.
Rich's face when you said that.
Because I'm like, I agree with trying to
The problem is though they're at home, so the scrutiny ratchets up.
I don't think it's a nice place to play at the moment because there's
No.
a lot of unhappy.
I
Warrington fans.
made a point when I saw, I think we made it the week before, when we knew Widdop was coming back. And we said, what is Steve Price going to do?
Where's he going to play?
His team are playing really well. Is he going to change it? And he changed it. And you look at body language of Austin and of Widdop, and it don't look a happy
Not
camp.
only did he change it, but he brought Widdop in a position that he hasn't been signed for. So I think, again, just because the result was so emphatic, maybe Leeds didn't get enough credit for how well they played, particularly in the first half, because all the focus was on how abject Warrington had
There
been.
was some terrible.
The thought
defence.
watching
Like, that Keenan Brand, I feel sorry for him because he was on debut, but that first try, I
the
think
thought watching.
I don't know what he was trying to do. He just sort of threw
Well,
it under.
he probably got overexcited at making his debut for.
Well, he
Warrington.
did. He
It's
did
his
rush
big
off the
chance.
line and leave a massive hole. That
Yeah,
that
which they won't have done in training. It will have just
No.
been.
But that's what I mean. I mean, individual errors.
But you can
that
cover
game.
for that because that happened very early in the game. So you go
But it
6-0
kept, not
behind.
saying just from him, but from other players, it kept happening.
What you thought watching them was there are square pegs and round holes in that team, and that it didn't gel. You know, Austin needs his hands on the ball a lot, and Woodett needs to be involved a lot, and Ratchford needs to be involved a lot. And how do you fit all that together? Did they actually need to buy Gareth Woodett?
No, I don't know. I don't think that. Well, they need. Well,
And he might
if
turn
they'd
up
played
kicking
Deck Patton,
the
every week,
right
we'd have
goal.
been going, why the hell is Deck Patton playing? They need someone else.
Yeah, so if you've got the option,
They needed
Yeah.
someone, but I also, Scully will always talk about partnerships, and I just think they needed someone to play second fiddle to Austin. And said, if he says we're doing this, we're doing this. You do what he says, and when he says you do
Which
something, you do
basically
it.
says they've then got to play Woodett at fullback, which he's quite adept at.
Stephen Ratchford was playing really well at half time.
Absolutely.
Stephen Ratchford is a bloody good rugby player. And
Wherever you put
he'd
him.
be in my England squad as well, just purely because if you played him at prop, he'd do you a good
Yeah.
half a
So
half a game.
was the mistake that Price didn't play Ratchford and Austin as his halves and put Woodett in a...
I think Widdop and Austin need more time because Widdop missed probably half the pre-season with injury. I think they need more time together.
Do you think it'll come good?
I don't know if it will come good, but I think they do need more time. The worrying thing is though, it wasn't just the halves. That was
No, no.
right across the board.
It
The
was-
forwards,
yeah.
defensively, they just look a team short. I mean, they absolutely dominated St Helens. So, like, what's happened to
Well,
that team?
That's what I mean. What's
Yeah.
happened?
I don't like.
What's-
And even round one, when they were beat, they played pretty
Yeah,
well.
but
The
What
performance was
Steve
good.
Price said, which is exactly the same as Ian Watson
He
has
did,
said
yeah.
about Salford, is he thinks perhaps his team might have fallen in love with themselves after those
Yeah.
first 2 weeks. That we don't need to do it now because we know we can do it, but you have to do it. And I don't know that Ben Murdoch still started off the season
He was playing really well last couple of rounds. Yeah.
but again, he wasn't quite the dominant. It wasn't like the Catalan forwards that you were talking about, or Hull in the early
I
part of the
wouldn't.
season.
If you were that Leeds player hit, you might disagree.
But he didn't even get cited for that, which is, I think
Yeah.
there is an element of saying the yellow card was absolutely right because it wasn't intentional.
And he was
slipped
slipping,
into
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So and I think, but again, you'd have expected that to come up on a disciplinary chart.
Swinging arm to the
We've
head.
at least looked at it, and we've issued a caution. You've got to be a bit more careful with your technique.
But the thing with that Warrington
Yeah, but
team,
if they'd have pushed you when they were going for a kick, 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
And they rightfully got 10. But something isn't right. I mean, Darryl Clark was criticising his fellow players afterwards, saying that,
and he's injured, I think.
he came off with an ankle injury. And he's the heartbeat of the side. But he needs others. Luther Burrell's an odd one at the moment as well, because they really need him to succeed. And I'm not sure they know where his best position. Do they bring him on after 65 minutes and play him in the centre?
Is he a better
Or
rugby
do they
league
play
player
him on
than
the-
Harvey Livett? I don't think he is. But yet they've shipped Harvey Livett out.
What I
and
don't
he's playing
understand
20
as well
minutes here and there.
is Warrington always seem to buy. Now, some of those are players with potential, like Matty Ashton or Keenan Brandon. You can make an allowance on a kid's debut.
Oh, look, it was our
First time
tough
he's
debut.
played
Yeah.
played at that level. But if they've got an issue, they buy. Where
Yeah.
are the Warrington
No,
youngsters
I agree, and
coming through?
they spend a lot of money as well
A lot
at
of
that
money.
level. I know
And
I've
we
spoken
saw-
to people at academy level that they try sign players and they all go to Warrington.
Well, we
Because
saw
they get paid more money.
Louis Johnson.
I was
picked
gonna say
up
that
from
last-
Castleford,
yeah.
but he can barely get in the team.
Yeah.
I know he was on the bench this
Walk
week.
out
but-
from Widnes.
Well,
Yeah. So on.
But yet they'll play Josh Thewlis when they've got an injury crisis. It was a 17-year-old who's coming through their system.
Well,
That's
this is the same point that I've made at Hull. Where are their young kids? Why aren't they got any young kids playing? And they don't play a big part. I know there's a fashion Matonga will get on the bench, but when they're fully
Connor
fit,
win last year, but
when
yeah,
they're fully fit,
fit, no.
they're nowhere near. And this is the point you make with Wayne. Gives kids a debut, and if they play well, they stay in.
Well, Wigan, St Helens, Leeds build
Yeah.
their success
Yeah.
around local
Yeah.
talent, which will make mistakes.
Yeah.
You got to put it in and sometimes allow it to make those mistakes, but then maybe withdraw the player for a couple of weeks. And I would side because I see them more than any other team. Somebody like Mikolaj Aledski, who was clearly overplayed last year, but started the season. Cameron Smith. They've been allowed
Cameron
to
Smith,
come-
he's playing
He's-
really
It's
well.
funny, Cameron Smith. If you put him in his right position, he's actually quite a good player. isn't he?
and give him responsibility and tell
Well, I
him what his
remember
role is.
people saying when he played at Stone, oh, he's rubbish. Well, he's not
He's not
standing
stand
off. Yeah, he's not standing
But
off.
what those teams, particularly Wigan, probably more than anybody else, because they've won the Academy League, was it 9 out of the last
I
10
think
years? And
Every year since 1932.
Saints are never far behind them. They actually give those kids the chance. You've mentioned Jack Wellsby, haven't you? That he's clearly you just need to watch him, and he's an immensely talented player.
It's not
But
a fullback.
But there are
He's
some
not a fullback.
no,
but
but
he's
there are
doing
some
the job.
edges in his game that will need to be knocked off. But
But
Saints
is he going
aren't
to be better
saying-
for playing now? Yeah, he is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
it's money in the
where are,
bank.
where are the Warrington players?
No, I
who are
agree.
coming
It's
through
like
their
that.
system?
And it's those that give youth a chance will succeed longer term.
And if you're going to lose
that don't.
36-0, give some young kids the experience of what it's like to
Look
play
at
at the top
Huddersfield.
level.
They've done it. They had to
Yeah.
put the kids in when they got all them injuries, and look at them now. They're
I
good
think-
players.
With Warrington, they've got big name players on big contracts. They're not performing.
Yeah, and I reckon
So,
it comes an
you
element.
drop-
They're going to
you
the restaurant
drop-
going, well, he's not doing it.
Yeah,
He's on
you
twice
drop
what
them.
I'm on, so why am I bothering?
But
And
no,
he's
but
not
if
getting
you
called
Steve Price, you're going, all right, well, you're dropped. I'll bring in players who will perform. They've got a
But
big
can
squad.
he do that now? He's down. He'll have to go with his tried and tested because
Well,
he has to win. If
or-
they lose this week, he's in trouble.
Or,
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
or he
Agree,
has
yeah.
to make an example of a couple of them to show that
Yeah.
he means business.
We've been asked why this week is Steve Price in trouble if they lose. Because if you look at the league table, they've lost, is it
Because-
5 of 6?
Because they've only won 3 out of 15 games in
Yeah.
the Super League. They won the Challenge Cup, which was one of the great
I think he has
performances at
still-
Wembley. The problem they've got is that that's relegation form, 3
Yeah,
out of 15.
it is.
Not winning away for
Since
8
July.
matches.
Yeah.
You know, at any other club, people will be. It's almost like the cup win sort
They've
of
scored
masks a bit of that.
69 points in 5 games. That's 12 points a game.
And I think it's how they're playing at the moment as well. They don't look cohesive. They're not. They weren't in that game on Friday.
Oh no, they were not in it at all.
Well, if they turn up and win 52-12 on Friday and then they go into the top 5 and
Yeah.
people go, all right, it's a blip. But it's a blip that's lasting a long time. And they look, to me, to be playing all right until they changed it. And it hasn't looked the same. So, I mean, look, we saw how bad Toronto were on Friday, Saturday. They nearly beat Warrington.
They did, yeah.
You know,
That was not a good performance by Warrington at all.
So even the wins of take the St Helens result out of it, it's very much
That
that's
was,
the anomaly.
I think more interesting than perhaps maybe the score against Cass, and I think because it's at home, there will be added pressure on Steve Price. There shouldn't be, because I think he's got to 3 of the 4 finals that he could possibly have got to.
He's also coaching with a blank checkbook.
I think what he needs to do is it's his team selection rather than the way his team played. The result this week, and does he have the respect of all of those around him that he can turn around to a really established player and say, look, there's stats, you're not doing it, and I need to bring a young kid in because I've got to use you as an example. I'm serious about what we're trying to achieve here.
It's a brave man that does that when you lose.
Absolutely.
A brave man that
But
does
I
that
think
when you lose.
I think that might be what he needs to do with a couple of players.
Here's a question, and this is a question I always ask myself when people say XYZ coach out. Who's coming in? Who are you going to appoint?
Well, that's it.
Who's
Someone
out
pointed
there?
me, Shane Flanagan. Shane Flanagan's not coming
No.
to Super
He
League.
doesn't
I mean, he's
need-
just
he
joined St
he
George
doesn't
on
need to
Wire,
rebuild his
assistant
career.
coach. His family's in Australia. No, I mean, and also he's a coach who was sacked. Well, he was sacked and he was deregistered for being incredibly dodgy. So why would you?
Well, and
bring him in?
it's clear that
There was a
if,
That's why the
peptide
dumping
scandal
ground, when
running
dumping
in his
ground.
club that he somehow had no knowledge of.
but
I
it's
mean, come
also
on.
clear that if St George don't start doing it early on in the season, he will be the head coach of St George.
If you were Paul McGregor, you'd be worried about him
Yeah.
whining in the
Yeah.
background massively. Yeah. But I mean, who is actually out there?
Who are the
Either in
outside
England
coaches
or in
the
Australia.
Sean Wayne,
Well, he's not.
Not going to go to Warrington.
no.
He'll be waiting for the whole job.
And also, he's England coach. I don't think.
But
he
the
would.
whole thing about him being the England coach is it a full-time job? Because I'm sure if he was offered a Super League job, he would
Yeah.
still be the England
It's
coach.
not a full-time job, but I don't think Sean Wayne's the kind of guy
No,
who
but
would be able to,
He's
I think
do
with what
both.
they've got coming up, Australia and the World,
World
Cup, I
Cup,
think
that's
it
enough.
should
Yeah,
be a full-time
yeah.
job for
But I'm
him.
saying there are people there that you could, Simon Moran rings you up and says there's a blank checkbook, I want you to come and coach my team. He'd get quite a few.
Yeah,
Yeah, but who would be,
The coach of London under 18s who beat St Helens.
Yes.
That's who it should be.
Rob Powell.
He's had the gig, hasn't
Who's out there? It's all right saying
There's
sack
always somebody.
XYZ.
Yeah, but is that a better, as Rich was saying, is that a better option than what they have now? That's the thing.
Well, was Steve Price the best option on the market? Well, no, he was the guy that they identified with the most potential. So there might well be an Adam O'Brien type coach in, the ones that keep getting linked, but clearly there seems to be Jason Demetriou, for example.
Who's
Knowles,
already got
but
the
he
job
now
in
is
mind. Yeah.
secure.
Adam
But
O'Brien
there-
is at the
but there'll
Knights.
be somebody
Justin
out
Holbrook
there.
is at Gold
There'll
Coast.
be somebody that
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, of course there will.
here's Tim, Andrew Henderson, Lee Breers, Andy says John Keir. There you go. There's some names for you.
Well, both those, the first two there, well,
They're-
haven't coached at Super League.
And
level,
they're
have
there.
they? Well, that's it. They're part of the existing staff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ben West.
Look, if they win this week and win well,
Well, yeah.
it'll be next week's chip paper, won't it?
I'm not sure it's
I
about
just think the
winning.
fact
I'm
that-
sure it's about playing.
I
this
think the
week.
fact that even the broadcasters are starting to ask questions about it now. The pressure's there. The pressure's
Well,
there.
they
It
did.
ain't
They,
gonna go
they
away
did end
until
the
he wins.
season terribly. They
They
had a
did.
massive high in Challenge Cup final, and even before that, it went downhill
Yeah,
fast.
fell off
The
that.
semi-final they were great. The final they were great.
Yeah.
Most of what went between those two after it and after the first 2 weeks of this season, the following 3 have not been good.
But similarly enough with them is Hull. Let's not forget the 13 games in a row for Hull. It's,
Old. as annoying as yesterday would have been, they were all right for an hour. They were all right.
Well, they've not been. Although
Kelly went all right.
It was Warrington who beat them by 80, wasn't it? But they've not been beaten
No.
by a big score.
Nah,
you know.
Well, they were at Magic. That was
Yeah.
probably their low point.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I just
That was a while ago.
the expectation is there. You know, Scott Taylor said it was a must-win game today. You think, I actually said, well, you're only 5 games. How can
Yeah.
it be a must-win game? You're only 5 games in. No, we had to win today.
I think it was
And that-
criminal, wasn't it?
That'll be the pressure now on when Lee Rafford said there will be a cow pat of a pitch at Bellevue on Friday. A cow pat of a pitch, he said. We've been looking after the pitch as well.
No, it's not my job.
Rich is
Have
looking at the cows.
Have
Go
to
check it on
yes,
Thursday,
Rich,
yeah.
go and put the cows on the field.
Yeah.
It's been raining. We don't,
It's sunny today. What are you talking about?
it's been raining. Well, you know, Lee Radford's got his own council-built pitch, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see.
I think it's interesting. We do rush to judgment too.
How did the Twitter poll end up?
The Twitter poll,
Yeah.
Steve Price.
Steve Price
He
was
gone.
was he?
Yeah,
He's gone.
48.7%.
Radders.
Sam Tompkins, 60% say yes, he should play.
Yeah,
40% say
well,
no.
that's fair enough.
And most people want Toronto to stay up, but think they won't.
Well, it is quite narrowly split between
Yes.
hope they go down.
Yeah.
There was only about 3%
I think
in it.
Sid's one of these people who sets up lots of Twitter accounts, because apparently people do this. And there's been
No,
all
I
the
know.
Twitter accounts.
You take that back because Sid just says what he thinks. He doesn't hide behind any.
Fake Twitter accounts.
There
I was
you
going
go.
to spend all day making them up and saying how great we are, but then I thought, no, we're just adequate, really.
Nah, I think we just
It's a bit
get on
rubbish,
with
a bit
it.
rubbish.
What else? Well, we'll talk about the mighty Wakefield 22-12 winners.
Max Jowett for England 2021, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Tom Johnson scored again. Bill
Yeah.
Tupou scored a
It's
Tom
either
Johnson try.
yeah. It was kind of not as good as Tom Johnston, wasn't
Oh, he's a bigger man. He,
Well, I know.
It was
But it was
brilliant
good.
the way he used the flag there.
yeah.
it? Well, James Clare did the same on Thursday, didn't he? Which they didn't tweet it out. I was ready to tweet out saying James Clare watches Tom Johnston videos, but they didn't tweet it out. Tweet the bloody things out.
First half of that
Well,
game
they didn't
yesterday.
really tweet the Liam Marshall thing out.
Were you
Oh,
there?
and why?
It was terrible.
What, the Salford Wakey game?
Yeah,
Oh.
first half,
You
both
want to have a
teams.
bit of respect for Wakefield, please?
No, they were terrible in the first half. They were absolutely woeful.
Absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, they were.
You should have a Twitter poll on who's going to eat the last biscuit.
But people are already asking that on the
It's
Twitter.
just politeness.
I've had 2. There were only 6. I've had my 2, so it's one of yours. One of you's had 2.
I
one
think
of
I've
you've
had
one.
2.
Oh, it's yours, Phil.
Yeah.
No, well, that can be bought.
But you're little, so me and John are
No sugar for you.
go on, back to the rugby.
No, I
field.
think the second half, Wakefield, I think they completed 93% or something, and they deserved it from the second half performance. The first half was very bad. Wakefield's packed though. I think that's their biggest strength. It looks like they're going to get Arona and Fafita back maybe next week or the week after. They're starting to get some troops back. So
Tanganoa.
He's been
he's
the
some
one
player.
consistent
Oh.
throughout their
One of
nightmare
those
last year.
Rare
this year.
mid-season signings. That's
Yeah,
worked.
I
Manly
like
man.
him.
Yeah, well, he's. I don't know if it was Desi who got rid of him or what, but he didn't really make much of a splash in the NRL. But he's played for New South Wales through his juniors. I think he was an Australian schoolboy. And he's just really finding some form at Wakefield.
And he doesn't like the cold. So imagine what he's going to be like when it gets warm.
A few eyebrows were raised about the announced attendance.
Was it 3,000?
801.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of people there, but yeah.
Did you pay your £7?
No, I parked down the road and walked in. I'm not paying £7.
Why do you have to pay media now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
AJ Bill.
Someone said the players have to pay
Fast.
their own bed.
What we going there again?
It's that you've burned it.
What we going there? How do we get banned? Sorry, I can't do that one. I get someone else.
Match rating 2 stars.
2 stars. Don't matter how many points did Wakey get. 2.
All
Who's
the
bothered?
points. All the points.
All the points.
Ryan Atkins was supposed to be good as well. From what
He
I've
was
seen on
very
the
good.
highlights.
He was. There was quite a funny question in there. I'm not sure who asked it, but to Chris Chester that he'd be happy with an 80-minute performance. I think Chris wasn't really an 80-minute. Even he wasn't putting a lipstick on the pig that was the first
Don't
half.
matter.
but-
It was all about winning. And that's
it. Yeah.
You going about,
Yeah.
you think Warren need
Can you go minus?
they need to win.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been
It eases the pressure.
1-3 if they'd lost that game. Yeah,
It's very hard to go into a presser when a coach has won and gone, oh, you're under pressure. And it's like, oh, we just won, mate.
Yeah,
If they lose, even if they play well,
and they
they'll
deserve.
again.
They were the much better team. They deserved the win.
So what do you make of Salford? Because you've seen a fair bit of them already this season.
Yeah. Who have you offended?
Yeah. And
Are you the Salford correspondent now?
I think we've all said we're big fans of Ian Watson.
Yeah.
The job that he's
Yeah, we
done.
are, of course we are.
But he just seems very tetchy at the moment, which is unlike
Pressure. 4 games out of 5 at home, and they've only
It
won
was
one
always
game.
going to be a hard season. They overachieved last year. Look, then Salford's norm is
They could have lost to
battling
Toronto. They were
Yeah.
drawing with 7 minutes left.
Yeah,
They wouldn't have had a win.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about Hull County Toronto.
The thing, the Huddersfield game, though, I think that was a. Kevin Brown doesn't headbutt Jordan Turner, and they don't give away that penalty. They don't lose that game. But
Zach Hardy couldn't fail a drug test.
yeah, they've got to go to Catalans.
Well, they won. Was it last year they won there 40-0 or whatever it was? Or was that the year
Yeah,
before?
Jake Bibby did
That
a
was
Matt
one of their
Gidley
best.
impersonation.
one
Yeah.
of the best performance. 80
It
minute
was.
performances
The thing
of
is,
the
though,
season.
that-
You're very reluctant to say to go, oh, they're not going to win.
They had the man of
it's a
steel.
Slightly different Catalan this year as well, I think.
They had the man of steel last year, and they had a Great Britain international and Josh Jones.
Do you think it's not just the loss of Hastings, but for example, Joey Lussick doesn't seem to be having the same kind of influence?
I think-
because that was such a strong partnership and played off each other. And the thing is as well, if you get into trouble in a game and you've got a talismanic figure,
Oh yeah, lifts
they'll
everyone
get you
around.
out of trouble.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem to be. There isn't a direct replacement. It's more of a.
Well, Kevin Brown, I think, had been doing a good job. Obviously, he's been missing a
But-
last. Chris Atkin is not. You
It's
know, at that
you've got to
level
adjust
right
to
now.
play in a different way. And
Yeah. Look, I think it was always going to be a hard season for them with the players that they lost and they overachieved last year, and they were always probably going to be in the bottom 4 or 5.
not going to be in a relegation match.
I don't think they will get relegated, but I think they could be fighting against it at some point. Yeah. But it's Ian Watson is clearly not happy, and they just didn't perform well in just about every area yesterday, which is certainly a concern.
And I think again the worry for him would be that he'd sort of given his team the hard word the week before, so he would have expected some kind of a response this week. And maybe what was annoying him was that he generally didn't get it. Lola Here's playing all right. But he needs somebody inside him, organising.
I think defensively he got exposed a few times.
But I'm
yesterday.
not sure that was ever the strength of his game.
No, but I mean you
If
you
you've
can't
got-
be defending in a line at halfback and missing, lots of tackles.
But you'll then need a couple of second rowers either side of you
Yeah.
that will come
Well,
up with your mistakes.
I think with Brown out, he becomes the chief playmaker, and that's not his strength. So
Interesting.
yeah.
I just find it, odd that Ian Watson's attitude towards what he says in private every day in training, absolutely understand, but he's almost saying that in press conferences at the moment.
Well,
he doesn't seem happy.
He didn't see that performance coming. The train well in the week, and I think he was pretty filthy on what they dished
the week
up.
before he used the shield of the referee to blame.
Are they in the mix for relegation?
I think they are. Yeah.
Got Catalan this week.
I don't think they'll get relegated.
I don't think they'll get relegated,
There's
but
too much
I just wonder.
But
wonder if it's we've been writing them off for the last 5 years and they've not got. And then last year they get to the grand final. And now when you think, oh, they'll be all right, all of a sudden they're not all right.
Paulie is. I don't know what he's on, and I don't mean to infer something illegal, but he's the player that he was at Wake for. The player he is now.
Yeah,
Completely different. I
Pulled
mean,
up his chest, innit?
But who have they played? Barring Saints when they got spanked on the opening day of the season, they've played Toronto, Wakey,
Huddersfield,
Leeds, and Huddersfield.
Mm.
They haven't played any of the big boys. When I say that, none of the
apart
top,
from St.
apart
Helens.
from St Helens.
Yeah.
They haven't played any.
And the
of them.
manner of that defeat, I think.
And
came
they've
as a
played
shock
4
to
of them
them.
games
Well, I think
at home.
that Huddersfield, there are a lot of games at home, and the Huddersfield and the Wakefield games, I would have thought, well, we're a really good chance to win those, the same as the
And
Toronto.
they didn't.
Yeah.
No, we'll see. What about Reece Lynn? I heard he played well.
Yeah, he did. Look, I think Wakefield had a lot of. Bill Tupper was good. Ryan Atkins was really good. Max Giout.
Miller apparently had a more,
Yeah,
of,
he
more of an
stepped,
influence
he
than
stepped
he
up.
has.
Yeah, I think
Needed to as well, if I can say.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think he's been at his
No,
best for.
I think
for a
Danny
few
Brough,
weeks.
he generally runs any team that he's in, and without him, Miller's needed to step up. But no, Wakefield were good. They were good value for it.
Good. That's that one covered off. Have we spoken
That's
about
all
all
I
the
said,
games?
yeah.
Have
But
we?
it's-
I
There
don't,
was
I don't
some-
think we've praised Wigan enough yet.
Praise Wigan more.
Praise Wigan. Go on then.
Well, I just think that the manner of that win says a lot about Wigan this year. That again, doing your predictions a week in advance, you're looking at it going, oh, that could go either way. That even allowing for somebody not being on the field for 10 minutes and Wigan exploiting that, they didn't take their foot off the gas. They were right at it until the very last minute.
The one
There's
thing
some-
you get
some
with
really,
Wigan,
really good signs.
no matter whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, you always get 80 minutes effort and you get an attitude to defend.
Yeah.
And I think there were just signs last couple of weeks. Their attack is starting to find its feet,
I think
and
also
that leads to trouble. I think.
they now know what Adrian Lamb expects of them.
Yeah, I think
And-
it's
and
his
at this-
team now. It's
yes,
his team.
at
isn't
this
it?
time last year, he was finding his feet.
Oh.
Some of the players were not sure whether they were going to be there or not. The Sean Edwards spectre was still.
He was
hanging
in
over
Mission
the club.
Impossible, wasn't he? Lam,
Now
when you look
he's
at it.
had his pre-season. He's brought in some players that he wants. He's actually not frightened to drop people or rest people. He's relatively okay with injuries. Of course, they've had a few because every team does, but he's got some selection choices.
Well, he's got a coach that will be loving training because his players have got to give it 100% because if they don't, they're not in.
There
Some
aren't-
clubs
there
will be
aren't-
players
there
training. I think
aren't-
Martin
Yeah,
Martin
I've
play
got it.
play
There aren't
anyway.
too many clubs that would allow Joe Greenwood to go out on loan to a rival that would drop Joe Burgess because he's got Don Manfredi. No, he's making the decisions that I think Steve Price needs to make.
Yeah.
Just say, look, on whatever week we're playing, I am going to pick my best players, no matter what contracts they're on,
Yeah.
no matter what for. It's all about what job I think they can do. They've clearly got an X Factor player in Bevan French, and they're just learning how to get the best out of him. But Sam Powell, clearly when he plays, they've got a lot more direction.
Yeah, they were a bit clunky when he didn't play.
Yeah.
But they still won their games.
And
so.
Sean O'Loughlin isn't playing, and that's something that they're going to have to get used to because he's clearly not going to be there from the end of the year when he retires after a glorious time with that. So all of that, it's like the young players are stepping up because they know there's opportunities.
Yeah, because there's that
Parkinson's
belief if you
trying,
play well, you'll get
a chance,
and that is the difference.
You'll stay in the team.
I
Not
just can't
get
imagine how
picked.
demoralising that is when you play as a young kid and you play really well, and then you're not picked for another 3 months because you're not a big name player or you're not this or you're not that. The best, you've got to credit Sean Wayne for that. The attitude was, I always remember, I interviewed him once and he was really, I asked him about a kid who made his debut and he went, not good enough. I give him a big explanation. And he went, if he's good enough to play in the first team, he'll be judged like a first team player. So if he plays well, he keeps his shirt. If he doesn't, then he'll be told to go away and do what he needs to do. And when he does it, he can come back in. And I just thought incredibly strong, and you think, well, it's a bit harsh. But that's
Some players love that honesty. They know,
They
when you stand.
know if
Not all players, but some do.
And
Yeah.
then again, go back
It's
to
worked
Leeds
for
and
him.
Myler. Myler was told, look, you're not part of it. He's obviously stayed and showed the right attitude.
Yeah.
He gets back in.
Yeah,
and
good
you
on him.
know what? Yeah, you think, you can't help but think, yeah, good on him. He's a nice kid, Richie Myler. And you think, well done you, pal. Well done you for getting
And
back.
I think the honesty of Richard Agar basically said, if you play, you're not going to play in your first choice position. What you are going to be is the utility guy.
Yeah.
That's the best you can hope. Well, he's now played both half positions, hooker and fullback, in the opening weeks of the season.
Yeah.
And he's playing
And
better
there
than
will
he's
be
ever played
injuries.
before.
There will be injuries. But
Might be.
But that's
I remember Neil Redford.
that's
Neil
about
Redford
attitude.
always said to me, if you've got too many in your squad, and some of those players know whatever they do, they're never going to play. Your squad is dying from within.
Yeah.
Because as soon as someone thinks they're not going to play, they stop trying. The standards start just going down a little bit, and you've got problems. And I just think at some of these clubs, the team sheet picks itself, and if you're not in that little night, you're not going to get in.
Whereas I do think the why I wanted to get back to Wigan was I think it's the exact opposite.
Oh.
And,
I think
and
he's got a list of 25 and goes, right, where are we going here?
And he's got the juniors that can come in that are so eager to make an impression that if he does have to leave out for either form or injury purposes an established name, he's not bothered that he's bringing a young
It's down to that that academy. They know what's
Yeah.
required of them in the first team, and they play the same style as they do. So when they come in, they are tailor-made. It's not a big leap. It seems.
And I don't think Huddersfield need to worry too much about a defeat of that magnitude either. I think.
No. Well, again, let's see how they do this week and next week.
Yeah,
and we
it's
judge
a
it
bit
from
of a
there.
reality check of where they were, but I don't think Sam will be overly worried about
No.
that defeat.
No. What's happening?
I was going to ask John, have you ever been tempted to give someone like a 2 or a 3 in your...
I think I have given a few threes, possibly when someone's injured in the first minute as well.
Oh, what?
Just to wind people up so people get upset on social media, because that's what it's all about. Everyone apparently was great for Wakefield yesterday. John says Jay Pitts is getting better and better. Does all the hard work, doesn't he? He's a good player. He got 6 out of 10 from Johnny, don't appreciate that. And Romain Navarrete.
I think 6 out of 10's not a bad score.
5 is average.
Pitts is like your Bernard Dwyer who used to be at Bradford. Just does.
Does the work.
Does it.
yeah.
Does it.
Yeah.
You
He's not there to get 8
It
to
starts
9.
with as a 7,
Yeah.
and if he's noticeable, it goes up to 8.
Yeah. Or if John's doing it, he goes down with 6.
Well, he's a harsh man.
He's a harsh man.
He's a hard man to impress.
Lots of people watching tonight.
Which is odd, really, because he's a Manly fan, so you think it'd be easy to impress.
Yeah.
Just wait for Big Dave and his pink shorts to come back and then get a big fine from Super League.
Yeah.
What did you make of the new ad, Phil? Tina Turner?
I've not watched it yet.
Yeah.
I've been at work all day. I had to favourite it. I'll watch it later.
Are they all still on the beach with no
No, we're quite right.
Latrell Mitchell was on the beach.
Being sung to by a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
We quite rightly have said that some of the work the City Talking have done to promote the personalities within the game has taken up a level here. I mean, if they were watching that, they'd be going, we've got a bar now that's just been set above that we need to... It is a brilliant melding of 30 years ago when it was first sung. Some of the great moments of the 30 years that have got you to where we are today. And a really good homage to the current stars and the women's game. There is everything in there. It is really, really good. Starts with a young 10-year-old Cameron Smith watching Tina Turner and ends with Cameron Smith breaking the appearance record and a girl thinking she wants to now follow in his. It's just really cleverly done. I don't think they missed anything, did they? In
No, I thought it was
1.5
great.
minutes.
There has been, I don't want to say controversial, but I think because obviously the shot of Mitchell with the Indigenous flag and, they're saying they're pandering to... virtue signalling, they're pandering
Snowflakes everywhere.
to certain causes. I thought it was quite good.
I think if you want to tick boxes, but you do it in such a way that it is so
I
entertaining.
thought it was respectful and entertaining.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And it was inclusive.
If you didn't know everybody that was in every clip, what you felt was if there was a rugby ball sat next to you while you were watching it, you'd want to pick it up and go outside.
Ticking boxes. The Women's Challenge Cup kicked off this weekend.
All right.
It was live on Twitch, which the young people all know about. Half of our audience are going, what?
I don't know who Joe Wiley was, so.
Keighley Cougars beat the RAF. So they're through to the next round. I don't know when the draw is.
Okay.
Because there was all those teams who got byes, remember, from last week.
Oh, yeah.
And there was 2 other games supposed to be. One was postponed, the Army versus Durham, and I don't know what happened to the other game.
Okay.
So that's the roundup of Women's Rugby League. But the RFL sent cameras down and everything, and commentators, and paid for it to be shown on Twitch.
Yeah, there's been a lot more about our league and their coverage and...
Apparently there's a big announcement coming up on March the 9th.
Yeah, what's that? Do we know what it is?
About Harley.
Oh.
It might be how much you've got to pay for it.
I think I got an email from the other day saying, you haven't logged in for one, and I was like, I tried to log in the other day to do the man of the match thing, they won't let me log in. That's why I've not logged in.
Yeah, been a lot of complaints about the games being on at 6:15.
Tough,
Bulls Eagles this week. Widnes, apparently one of their players couldn't play last week because he couldn't get there for work or whatever. Dewsbury beat them. Dewsbury, good win for Dewsbury.
Yeah.
That 20 points
Started
to 8.
well, haven't they?
Crowd of over 1,000. 9:25 at the Bulldogs, so the Eagles winning Golden Point. Halifax battered York. York is struggling. 3 defeats in 3.
I think you said that, didn't you? That it would be one of those
I just
years
thought,
where,
said to Rich pre-season, I just think they might get found. I just can't help but feel they've gone to signing a lot of big names, and it might have gone against the team.
Well, they did overachieve, didn't they? Last year. It's always hard to
maybe.
back
And
that
they've had 3 really hard games. So I might be being incredibly hard, but I just think in a division when you're when you get off to a bad start, you're playing catch up all the
Yeah, you are.
It's hard to do. It is hard to do.
What's happening with their stadium?
Yes, what is happening with the York?
Is that
Stadium?
a
They've got it in a
Wakefield?
couple of weeks.
Well, it is built. It's there. I've seen
That's-
it. But
it's
what
not
is it
gonna-
not open?
Is it built?
It is built, isn't it?
Alright.
I've seen all the pictures. It's built. The pictures there. Everything's there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably hasn't got its safety certificate yet.
You might haven't heard anything about it not getting it safe.
No,
You know, like
no.
when Tottenham's ground didn't, and they were like, oh, it's not going to be open for a year. Not heard anything like that.
And Toronto are playing there, aren't they?
They
Against
are.
Wakefield.
Yeah, they are.
Are they
27
playing
they're
there
on the telly.
Well,
Are you sure?
That's going to have to be rearranged pretty quickly if they're not.
It's only got at Warrington.
No, it'll be at Bootham, won't it? Bootham Crescent.
As an aside, £31.
Yeah,
That's how much they were charging for St Helens fans to go watch Toronto.
fans were not happy.
Maybe that's why the crowd was not given.
It was given 4,000 exactly.
Well, it's not in the League Weekly. No crowd.
You were there with the 4,000 then?
Did you count?
I would have said it was less than that. If I'm brutally honest, yeah, there were quite a few Saints fans there. I didn't think there was that many there.
Conditions were pretty
They
bad, weren't they?
filthy.
Cold,
Well,
rain.
yeah.
And
Fair play, anybody
Yeah.
that went and
6
paid to
o'clock
watch
on a
that.
Saturday night
Fair
isn't
play,
ideal.
absolutely.
It's hard enough watching it on TV.
Yeah,
You know.
it's
Some of the
fair play to
commentators.
people that have paid.
Some of them,
It's a bit
not all of
harsh- It's a
them.
bit harsh on Tony Gray.
I'm wondering if they'll squirt this bottle from here. Get Scully back on the phone. Let's have some proper guests on.
Fantastic result for Featherstone.
Yes, 34-10 winners at the Broncos.
That's 2 at home, the Broncos have lost, 1 in the Cup and
Yeah.
in the league. I don't think, again, there's a crisis there at all, but that is some
I think
result.
that's Fev sure and they'll be right up there. They're going all right.
Maybe-
Bradford beat Oldham, and Toulouse win again. It's got a few
Lee-
points,
Lee
so that's
had
from
their-
Toulouse.
Well, I just didn't like the way they're playing. Lee's game was called off.
It was at Swinton.
Can I just correct myself? It was £31 to pound a day for a seat, but if you paid in advance, you could stand on the terrace for 17 quid. But still, 31 quid.
Yeah.
That's what Bradford were charging last year, wasn't it?
It depends who you are. They might charge you more if you're from Toronto.
Yeah. And in League One, Newcastle beat Coventry 28-8. Doncaster beaten all by Barrow, despite
Probably
winning
not
at the
a surprise.
break. No, maybe not. North Wales beat the Scholars. West Wales lose to Hunslet.
I just think that Hunslet was superfluous there.
And Workington, 24-6 winners over the Cougars.
I mean, I know it was the first week of the competition and everybody is buoyed by optimism, but there were some worrying crowds in League One.
Yeah, I was going to ask you
When we
about
look
that.
at the future of the sport, what it's gonna look
982
like,
was the highest, and that was Donny against Barrow.
2 very established teams, one of whom markets themselves particularly well. Going to be part of the World Cup. The other has just come down from the Championship and doing some good commercial initiatives for their home games. So you'd expect that's it's laudable, but it's not unexpected. The rest, how does this division go forward when we possibly are looking at decreased resource from the centre?
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't remember.
But it's not a debate that you're having in 18 months' time. What is the plan?
Well, Phil, I'm looking up there. What's the plan? I'm looking in the middle. What's the plan? I'm looking at the bottom. What's the plan? I don't know what the plan is.
You can read about Ottawa coming in next year. You can read about how the whole of the centre of rugby league is moving to Valencia. Look
I'm
at
all
what,
for
look
it.
at look at
I'm a
what
big
we've
fan of
got.
Valencia.
Look at what we've got at the moment, though. What are we trying to build here? What is the foundation of the pyramid?
Well, let's be fair, right? There's 12 teams in Super League. If you took the top 4 out of the Championship right now, I think the only teams that wouldn't be happy to be in, maybe Halifax wouldn't be happy to be in, Widnes and Bradford, but they're 3 part-time teams now. You know, I think, if you say Toulouse, Lee, Fev and London, right, you're going full-time, you're getting a share of the money, 16 teams, this is what it's going to look like, this is what it's going to do. I don't think that, would there be any issues with that? Maybe Newcastle in the lower division might have an issue with that because they've got some money to spend, but,
I'm just saying we look at the moment, particularly at the bottom of that pyramid, aimless.
yeah.
There's some wonderful people doing some fantastic work to keep clubs alive.
The sport is very dependent on a small number of people. If some of those people start to walk away, then some of those clubs would go. You know, they would.
And it's the same higher up the league. You know, if Neil Hudgell walked away from Hull KR or Adam Pearson from Hull, we'd be talking about the same kind of thing, which is why occasionally it does make me laugh when I ever go to Toronto, because they've got an owner model. Well, virtually every club does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just to briefly touch on the All League thing in the 6:15 kickoff, I think we said this, was it last week or the week before? The real issue is the fact they're putting games on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon against all the other games being played at 3 o'clock. Either have a separate slot, or don't bother. It seems, especially yesterday when there was 3 Super League games on as well as...
Well, with the best will in the world, right, and this is, I'm going to say it, we're going to play in Hull KR on Sunday at 8. There's also Fev Swinton, Lee Fax, Oldham Dewsbury, Widnes Whitehaven, York, London, Barrow Coventry, Donny, West Wales, Hunslet, North Wales, Newcastle Workington, and also on the app at 3 o'clock, Rochdale Keighley. Who the hell is going to watch that game? Who is going to watch that? With the greatest will in the world, who is going to watch that game? Why is it on? Why are you putting it on?
I think we go down as fans of the sport. And when Rich said there'd been 3 games on, I didn't even realise there were 3 games on the R League.
I knew Dewsbury Widnes was on that.
Yeah, because that's the... And the thing about the 6:15...
And why do you know it's on?
Slot,
Is it because of the 6:15 slot? You know what it says?
Yes. But I hadn't realised that there were 2 other games that you could have watched if you were sat.
I don't think they're not publicised or marketed enough.
Well, they're marketed to their own audience, aren't they?
I know, but I'm part of that audience and I have no idea.
No,
and the other thing is, you're not going to sit there on your computer watching 3 games during the day. Well, so you are competing against your own audience.
Yeah. Even better is the Oldham Bradford game was on at the same time as the second half of the women's game that they were showing as well.
Yeah.
So
you can only watch one of those games. It's like
it's kind of a saturation point now. If you've watched Thursday night, you've watched Friday night, you've watched Saturday night on Sky.
Yeah.
Are you going to go and watch? I mean, you might be a
I think there's a market for the 6. I think that's one of the best things they've done. The fans are complaining about it. Well, let's see what the fans say in 18 months when they ain't got any TV money and the teams are going bust, or they're all genuinely amateur or semi-pro teams, because that's what will happen. That's what will happen.
But it's not like we haven't had Sunday evening games before. We've had Monday evening. You know, that is the nature of sport these days.
Well, it used to be Thursday night, wasn't it, on Premier?
In the olden days, I started watching rugby in the early 90s. Teams played midweek. How did the guy from Widnes, how would he have gone on in the olden days then?
Yeah.
We're not talking a million years ago, are we? So
no.
Midweek
it's
excuses. Midweek in the winter.
It's excuses.
It is.
Everything's
it's
an
a
excuse.
reason
I can't
not to
play.
go.
But you have
bloody luxury.
You have to also acknowledge that the world changes, and sometimes you have to change with it. People's leisure patterns have changed. The television demands when your content will be shown, not you saying to them that you're going to let cameras into your ground or not. That was a debate we had in the 1950s when television was first looking to cover sport on a regular basis. You cannot take the riches and not surrender some of your sovereignty.
No. I wonder how many people at the start of the year on a Saturday would have put the telly on hoping that the Catalan game was on. They go, why is it not?
Well, I think
then kicked up the fuss.
Yeah.
There are people now that won't be able to watch Catalan and Salford because it's not on. They'll be going, I wish that was on.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well.
Competing with ourselves.
Yes.
Oh, because someone keeps asking, Kyle, John, do you support a team in the UK?
No.
There you go.
Yeah, you do. You're a big Leaf fan, aren't you?
He's still banned from
Big West Wales fan.
Can't get enough of it.
It'll happen one day, John. It'll happen one day.
It did last year, but that was a problem.
He's got sufficient trauma following Manly, to be honest.
Yeah, well.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Season kicking off next week. Are you confident?
Only team to win a grand final on every decade. Never won a wooden spoon.
Lost their friendly this week, so you must be
friendly.
optimistic about the start.
Trial game.
When are Leeds in crisis again?
Don't worry, we'll be back.
Good season for Man.
The better be, we've got about 40,000 t-shirts.
We've got another Trebojevic. We'll this week. We just keep churning them out. They're like a factory.
Right, prediction time.
But they're Serbian.
Be quiet.
Sorry.
They're from Mona Vale.
From where? Mona Vale.
Mona Vale.
Leeds take on Brian McDermott's Toronto. It's the return of the Mac.
Leeds by 50. No, I think look, the way Leeds are playing, the way Toronto are playing, Toronto should have a reaction from that pretty poor performance. But I think Leeds by 18. Yeah.
I think this will be a harder game for Leeds than it is on paper. You'd think that the the respective performances. One's won 36-0, the other's lost 32-0. It's a foregone conclusion. But I think the Brian Mack factor coming back, the nothing to lose aspect, the Leeds have to back it up, and beating Warrington so convincingly to then not play as well.
Extra day turnaround as well.
Yeah,
Leeds, yeah.
But I think Leeds will win. But I just think it won't be necessarily as convincing as it was against Warrington. So I'm going to go Leeds by 10.
You're like Liverpool of the prediction league. You're well clear.
It won't last.
Well, we'll make sure
I
about
peaked,
that. Don't
I
worry.
peaked too early, and that's not the first time that's been said either.
Off.
That's the second card.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a red.
actually. Yeah. Red. Get yourself off.
That's me thinking.
Where are you going?
Leeds, because they're back now. Leeds are not in crisis. Got to only hope the women do rubbish this year and can get the t-shirts back out. Leeds by 24.
Yeah. Toronto won't be as bad. They cannot
You
be
would
as
think
bad.
so, yeah.
Is there any storms? Are there any storms predicted this week?
Eight
Well, up
foot
to now,
snow.
yeah. KL.
Eight foot.
Storm Argyle.
Leeds, I think, will win 10. Is that what you said, Phil?
Yeah.
Saints Huddersfield, Friday night, 7:45.
Yeah, I think St Helens showed enough against Toro and against the Roosters. They're going to be in the top two come September, and I think at home. St Helens by 12.
Yeah, the manner in which they went about their business this week, no matter who they were playing, was really impressive. Don't know Christian Wolf well enough, but I think he would have been absolutely delighted that the hardest thing is to. It's not even the bodies you've got out there. It's just getting them in the right mindset to play when they've tipped everything into a World Club Challenge and not quite won it. So. Yeah, again, I think Huddersfield have more resilience about them this year than certainly they have done in the last couple of years, and Saints won't find it easy, but I think Saints will win by 8.
Bucky's going 11.5 according to the paper this morning, and I think the Saints will just cover that, and I've gone for the same number as John. I think Huddersfield again, they'll bounce back, won't they? But just not this week. So
Yeah.
Huddersfield, Saints by 12.
Okay, I'm going to go by 14. It's not an anti-Huddersfield thing. I don't think Huddersfield's bubble has burst. They've just played Wigan. Very good team at home. A little bit of adversity went against them. Got a sense it's tough. It should be tough for the champions, and I just think they might get caught a bit short this week. But I think Huddersfield will be perfectly fine. The mighty Wakefield against Lee Radford's under pressure Hull FC.
Yeah, it's a tough
On
one, this
account,
one. I think Hull have got a pretty good record against Wakey.
Everyone's got a good record against Wake.
But I think the fact that there should be a fair rocket up the.
A mobile rocket.
They'll turn up and they will perform. Hull by 6. I think it'll be close. Hull by 6.
Connor missing.
Chungavali, that's.
He's a good player.
He's a
In
good-
fact,
very
I
good
think he
player.
won their Player of the Month today. Yeah, Lee Radford doesn't feel pressure. I think every year
I think he's starting to.
Do you think?
Yeah.
What personally? I think he deflects it really well from his team.
I don't think there's a coach who takes a loss or a poor performance more personally than.
No, but I think he's really good at shielding.
I didn't like the language. Got to must win. Well, must win today. We didn't win. Well, where does that leave you now then? So it's must win this week then, isn't it?
Yeah, and Wakefield
Must
I think
win.
will be encouraged by the manner in which they played in the second half against Salford. But I just think we are. If Hull are going to do anything this year, they cannot afford to slip up at Wakefield. So I think they will win by 2, but I don't want to upset Richard.
Richard?
Wakefield, because I've got to them every week, haven't I? But we've got a good chance.
Is it in your contract?
Contract. Have a job description. Looking to make it 2 in a row, and we'll win by 8.
8?
Yeah. 8.
Wow.
Max Jowett, superstar.
Max Jow with a hat trick.
I think it'll be a tight
He's
game.
going in for a pay rise.
I think it'll be a really tight game, and I think it'll be forward dominated battle. Are those big forwards back this week?
I've no idea.
Oh, you wouldn't know.
I don't pick the
Can you
squad.
tell me
I don't
after?
pick the team.
Oh, right, okay.
On a cowper.
I think Wakey by 2. I think Wakey will win. Warrington out of form. Steve Price out possibly. Castleford Tigers in form. Darryl Powell in. 7:45. It's a TV game. Who's going to win?
Yeah, this it's a really tough one because Cass are in great form, Warrington are anything but form. I can't really tip against Cass at the moment. They've had what Warrington's they had Warrington's measure in the semi-finals last year, and just they seem to get the job done at the moment. Danny Richardson really looking good. You know, their key players, their spawn players playing well. Yeah, I think Cass by 6.
Darryl Clark out, which I think is big.
Yeah.
But I do think we will see if Warrington have any cojones this week. That there are too many quality players who aren't performing, and I think it's not even about maybe what Steve Price says this week. It's about those guys getting around and going, we have to be better than this. So I'm going to go with Warrington because it's at home. I would definitely be going for Castleford if it was at the Jungle, but by 4.
Remember when you got Kieran Cunningham the sack? All those
Yes.
years ago.
Yep, that was Mark.
You did?
Yeah,
I think
I went in the boardroom and went, this is not good enough, lads.
put your headset back. I think you've put Warrington onto this slide here because at the start of the season when we were at that Launcher Heading League, the first thing you say to Steve Price is it your year? And he just looked at you and it's like, oh.
It was a question everyone wanted to know. Is it Warrington's
Well,
year? It might still be.
as opposed to all these buggers, you ask the questions, don't you? That need to be asked. Not saying, oh, it's going to happen. Anyway.
Asked about the bloody coronavirus yesterday. I wish I hadn't done.
Cast
You
by
feeling
4.
alright?
I feel a bit weak, you know.
Cast by 4.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think Castleford. Well, I did tip famously to be in the bottom 4. I think they could be top of the table on Friday. That's purely because Wigan don't play well Sunday. I'm going to go. I think the wheels have fallen off. I think Castleford are going to whip them. Cast by 14.
They need to make a
Catalans-
good start if they're going to do that, because that's the only thing that's really been holding them back a little bit this year.
Yeah.
Second half team, aren't they?
Yeah. Then conceded a point in the second half, last 2 weeks, haven't they? Catalans against Salford, 5 o'clock Saturday.
Yeah, Catalan's back at home. A few wins in a row now. Maloney, Tompkins, good old Izzy. Salford struggling. Nothing about Catalan's win. I think this Salford side is not last year's team, and Catalan's by 14.
And this Catalan team is not last year's team either.
Mm.
I think you probably picked the key ingredient in this. Steve McNamara will not have forgotten that Catalan's most disappointing home display of the season, even
Shocking.
allowing for how well the opposition blew them away, was against Salford. And he'll want some kind of a redress and a measure of how far this team is progressing. I think that was a significant win at Hull. Would have been very easy at 29-28 to throw the hands up and go, we gave it a really great shot to get back from 28-10, and they didn't. They have that belief to say we're going to try it on the last play of the game and salvage something. So take that into a game against a team that is clearly lacking in form and a coach that is running out of some patience with his guys, and I can only see a Catalan win by 16.
I've gone by 2 points more. I think it's going to be comfortable for Catalan. Salford need to find some answers from somewhere, but I don't think they're going to find them this week. Catalan's by 18.
I like what I saw from the Dragons yesterday in bits. I think they're going to batter them. I think if they turn up in the mood, they've got the players at the minute that they can batter you. And I'm sorry to say, I think they will batter Salford. I think Salford are in a bit of trouble. I think they're in a bit more trouble than we think. I've said that before and got it famously wrong many times. I'm going to go Catalans by 30.
I think the other thing is the conditions there, if they're anything to go by at the moment, will favour a team that runs the ball, and the Dragons.
When they started throwing it around last 20, they were unstoppable. They
Yeah.
were unstoppable, and late tired defenders, blah blah blah. Wigan Hull KR.
Probably the easiest to pick.
Not if you're Andrew Voss, who's gone for Rugby.
Really?
But he said they'd be in the top 5 though. I think, didn't he? He made some.
I think also in.
He's gone plus 16 and a half though.
Oh, right.
I think also in the paper he's predicted Sonny Bill to be a bust this season. Fossey's not mincing his words. Yeah, Wigan looking really good at home. Holkar struggling to put out a team. You know, missing their spine, and you know, and the forwards just. Yeah, I think it could be a murder. I think Wigan by 20.
I think in recent times we're going to run up some scores against Hull. They mainly
Twice
played
last year.
Played them at Easter, like on Easter Monday, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twice last year.
but there is a
In
bit
month.
of history of
Yeah.
Wigan doing a number on.
This is the game you don't want when
Yeah.
you're struggling.
I
This
think-
is the game because it'll be physical, whether you lose by
Yeah.
50
And
or
Wigan
lose
will be
by
going
2.
in very confident.
And Wigan are a very young and athletic team, and they'll run you around as well as belt you up the middle. And I have every sympathy for some of the injuries that Holkar are suffering at the moment, but I just cannot see them winning this game. I'm going Wigan by 24.
I've not been too far off in the last couple of weeks saying, okay, I'll lose by 22, and it's been a score out, and I think it could be again. I'd like Scott used to pick those big scores out of thin air, and I've done the
51.
same here.
7.
Well, I'm going to tell you what the score's going to be.
I'm going to say 32 points, but it could be
No,
more.
if it was
Yeah.
Scott, it'd be an odd number.
Yeah.
That's
The
33.
scoreline here, I've seen this game twice last season.
Mm.
This is the game they don't want. They'll try and throw it around. It won't work. Wigan will win 52-6. They will. I just think they'll bat. This is your worst. This is Ulkar's worst nightmare. They've got no forwards. They're going to get steamrolled, and they'll keep steamrolling them until they're dirt, and they'll steamroll them some more.
And then
And you saw yesterday they can score from anywhere.
And they've got genuine pace in the back line.
I just think this is a game. Look, if
That's top
Tony
word.
Smith could forfeit, I reckon he'd forfeit this week.
So if I
He would
listen-
honestly.
the radio
They'll get
side
battered.
commentary, they'll be wanting to get their line. Mind you, none of the
Oh,
line.
they're all mended now. They're all
Oh,
mended.
they're
apparently.
all mended?
They're all mended.
Oh,
There's some
good.
digging up. It's all sorted.
Good
Right,
radio
John.
officer.
Thanks as ever. Thanks to the legend for appearing tonight.
The ghost.
Should get like hologram like
Yeah.
Whitney Houston's got. We just
So
have him
a
sat
green,
there.
green screen.
I like
Yeah.
to see him in late.
Vision, awareness.
Yeah, well, he hasn't got any vision.
Rubbish.
That's the problem. He's got awareness, but he can't see where he's going.
Can't we get him with a pirate?
I don't know,
I think
I
he'd look fetching in it,
Headband.
and maybe a parrot.
Look, we've had it. We were on for 5 minutes. That'll do. Phil, thank you as ever. Thanks to Rich. Go on with it, Phil. Leeds in crisis. It's gone retro now. Gone retro. Hugh Toronto's first win of the season. We can only hope. That's it. Thanks for downloading the podcast, etc., etc. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Some t-shirts still available.
Too many t-shirts.